Welcome back to Lowell Park. Cotuit's home for the first time since last Saturday. A rain-out Monday has led to a long break for the Kettleers, but they're finally back in action at home today against the Wareham Gatemen, who beat them in the playoffs last season en route to their 8th league title. Cotuit's coming off a doubleheader on Sunday at YD. It was one to forget for the Kettleers. Ben Gainsborough was there. Here's what he had to say about it.
As you were saying, Josh, it was definitely one to forget for the Kettleers. They came into the game hot. They had won 3 straight, and they left that day. They left Sunday, Father's Day, with a loss and a tie. The first game was definitely one to forget, 7-2. The Kettleers were never really in that game. The second game, they were down 7-4, entering the final inning of that game, and it was an abbreviated 7-inning game instead of a 9-inning game. And they were trailing 7-4. And then in the top of the 7th, the Bats finally woke up. They scored 5 in that inning. Looked like the Kettleers were going to get a win there. And then they let the game slip away late with an error by Nick Gonzalez. And YD tied the game at 9-9, and that's how it ended. I caught up with Coach Roberts after the game, and here's that. Coach, your team had an absolute roller coaster of a 7th inning in this one. Had the great offensive approach in the top half, let in a few in the bottom half, let them tie the game. What do you preach? What do you say to your guys after an inning like that and a finish to the game like that?
Well, what we talked about was, I'm really glad that, certainly we scored 5 runs in the 7th inning. Again, it's a lot of new people. You're trying to coordinate it. And when you look at it, I'm thankful that they play hard right now, and we'll still work on how do we become a better team as far as continuity is concerned. And the best player at each position. Today, I just tried to get a lot of guys playing time. And after the first week, I rarely look at the record because we play 44 games. Let's add it up when it's over. But, I think every year up here, if we were 4-2-1 at the end of the first week, I'd be thankful. I'd be happy. Yeah, because it's just a lot of new people and a lot of permanent guys, a lot of temporary guys. And, and we've already had 2 arm injuries, 2 pitching arm injuries already, both California guys, which I hate that very much, and Richardson and Troy. So, but we'll get better. And we have a lot of talent. What I'm going to keep harping into them, okay, we have a lot of talent, okay, but we got to be polished for that talent to come out. So I'm happy leaving here today, and we've had a good week, and now we're looking forward to 7 games in 6 days and see how we improve this week.
You talked about the new guys. You had Matt come in today. You obviously had Joe come in. You had Parker earlier this week. How have those guys acclimated? I mean, it was such a quick turnaround for Matt. He comes in late last night, and he's hitting 3rd in game 2. So how have they acclimated to that change?
Well, I really don't ask them. I just think if you can play, you can play. If you're here, you're ready to, you go in the lineup and you play.
Yep.
And I don't think at this point, I think Sullivan is the only freshman that we have on the club. Yep. I think that's right. I may miss somebody, but I think Sullivan's the only freshman. All the other guys have been in college 2 or 3 years. They're mature enough to just crank it up and let's play. Yep. And that's what you have to do. I think good baseball players can play on Christmas Day after they've opened their presents, put their uniform on, let's go play.
All right, Ben, Coach Roberts, thanks so much. Back here at Lowell Park. Meanwhile, for Wareham, they're also coming off a loss. They played Falmouth on Monday. They were able to get their game in. They fell 8-5 to the Commodores. They were also up in that game, but gave up a run in the 6th and a grand slam in the 7th to blow that game. They ended up losing 8-5 final score to drop their record to 4-2-1. Same as the Kettleers, both tied atop the Western Division, and the winner of this afternoon's game will take an early lead in the Western Division standings. Wareham has also been prolific with the bats this season. They actually lead the league in hits. They have 8 more than the second most team, which is Cotuit, and they have gotten their hits in a completely different manner. Cotuit leads the league with 10 home runs, but Wareham has only hit 1. Cotuit has hit as many home runs as all the other teams in the division combined. So Wareham's definitely more of a team that puts the ball in play, gets the ball in motion, and keeps guys moving on the base paths. Chad Stevens, a junior from Portland, leads the league with his average at 400, and Darren Baker, a junior from UC Berkeley, has the most hits in the league. The expected starter tonight is Aaron Davenport for Wareham. He's a sophomore out of Hawaii. He's made 1 appearance. It was against Orleans. Last Friday, he went 3 innings, gave up 1 run, but did get 5 strikeouts in those 3 innings. So he's definitely a swing and a miss type guy. That's all me and Ben have. Ben, thanks so much. For now, we'll send it upstairs to Sam and Aram, who will have their thoughts before this afternoon's game.
Peterman alongside Arm Layton, our entire Cotuit media team standing by. It is Wednesday afternoon, another great day for some Cape League baseball. And Arm, today we've got a battle of first-place contenders with the Cotuit Kettleers and the Wareham Gatemen.
The Cotuit offense has been great. Obviously, Wareham, kind of a scrappy team, so it's interesting to see what's going to give a little bit here. Obviously, Cotuit leads the league in home runs. Gatemen among the top in hits, but they struggle to poke it out of the yard. We know it's not that big down the lines here. This might be a day where the Gatemen kind of break out, and that offense might end up competing with the Cotuit Kettleers offense.
Both teams tied atop the Western Division. Cotuit 4-2-1, Wareham 4-2-1. The way that the Cape League does standings is a little different. It's very hockey-esque. You get points, 2 points for a victory, 1 point for a tie. The Kettleers, unfortunately, got their first tie of the season. They had 4 of them last year, and unfortunately we'll probably see that a few times throughout the summer. It just comes with the territory. Lowell Park doesn't have lights, so sometimes we'll see games get ended early, or as we saw in the second game of the year against Chatham, that only went 8 innings, and we'll see a couple of ties throughout. The Kettleers tied on Sunday against YD. Father's Day doubleheader, avoided a sweep, and it was an exciting game, too. Cotuit lost Game 1 against YD 7-2. Then the Kettleers bounced back in Game 2, trailing by 3 runs heading into the final inning of play. It was an incredible rally from Cotuit. 5 runs scored, all of those coming with 2 outs. Parker Chavers had the 2-run go-ahead double, and then a wild pitch made it 9-7 heading into the bottom half of that inning. Unfortunately, an error at second base allowed the tying run to score, and that was all she wrote. The two teams tied after 7 innings of play by a final score of 9-9. Coach Mike Roberts really liked the fight that his team put out there in that last rally.
Yeah, and you'll hear more about that in the pregame interview we did with Coach Roberts. Being down 3 after you just lost pretty badly in the first half of a doubleheader, to come back in that last inning was really impressive. The offense, like we said, is going to keep up. It's just about how they can pitch. But the fight to be down 3 like that, to rally off with 2 outs. They were down to their last strike on multiple occasions. Scrappy at-bats, did not give in, and double after double, base hit, and they're able to scrap together 5 runs after the offense struggled all day long through 2 7-inning games. So you're talking about 13 innings of barely really hitting the ball. They had 4 solo shots. That was all 4 of their hits. Going into that inning, they had no base hits, and then they broke out in the top of the 7th, rather, and that has to be something that's important to build off of. And you mentioned the hockey-style scoring, so to be able to squeeze out a point is still huge, and it could ultimately make a difference at the end of the line once we get to early August, end of July.
And this afternoon's ball game will make the difference as of now. Battle for first place in the West. Winner gets sole possession of first. It should be a fun one between Cotuit and Wareham. Just moments away from first pitch. And we got a great pitching matchup this afternoon on the Hill. 2 guys that we're actually familiar with. Evan Justice goes for the Kettleers, a left-hander out of NC State. Opposite Joe Barron, a left-hander from East Stroudsburg University, a Division II school in Pennsylvania. The Kettleers actually went up against Barron last year, and he performed very well. Evan Justice is making his 2nd start on the season for Cotuit. Arm, what do you look from the lefty on the mound today?
Well, we were talking about the consecutive quality starts we've seen from Cotuit starters. Justice was solid, 3 innings, gave up 2 runs in his first outing, but he only struck out 1, and I think you got to get more swings and misses in the Cape League to be successful, especially with the defense struggling like it has. We talked about the worst fielding percentage so far. It's early in the season, but the Kettleers do have the most errors in the Cape League. So pitchers have to do it themselves a little bit, and I think striking guys out is going to be something that Justice has to work on a little bit and try and rack up more than a strikeout in 3 innings.
And both of these offenses have shown that they can produce. The Kettleers offense, that's been the crux of their opening week start. We'll have more on those numbers when we come back. We'll take a pause for our national anthem. Instead, let's hear from Coach Mike Roberts. Since the doubleheader on Sunday at YD, but your team showed really good fight in the last inning of that game to score 5 runs with 2 outs. What did you learn from them and that tenacity to get off the deck?
Oh, I learned a lot. I mean, just watching them. It's an overcast day, guys. And, you could quit and not play very hard easily and say, let's go home. And wow, I'll have to say that, who knows if it'll happen again this year, but that day told me a lot about these young men. Yeah.
So it's Evan Justice's second outing. His first outing went 3 strong, gave up 2 runs. What do you look for him to build upon after that first start to try and improve upon that first start?
Well, I don't know him all that well, and so for me it's just seeing the ball not run into against right-handed hitters, for example, not run into the first base box a little bit and see if he's a little more consistent with the ball out front. But he's got good experience, and I'm really excited about seeing him for the second time around. A lot of times I learn a lot more the second time around than I do the first time around, so it's an excellent question, and I'm kind of like you guys. I'm going to be watching to see what does prop up the second time around.
We've seen this team for a week now, 4-2-1 start. You have a little bit of a gauge on them, so where are some areas that you think you can improve throughout the course of this next week?
Well, defense for sure, no question. Defense, I'm not disappointed, but we can improve. A couple areas of base running, and the final area on the offensive side is, again, our goal is to make contact. Every hitter make contact, no strikeouts. So, yeah, I'm not going to be satisfied till we go through a game. There's 27 outs, but no strikeouts. So that will help us. And again, pitching, you always, again, want to throw strikes and no walks. So, that's what I keep looking for.
All righty, Coach. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
Good luck. Welcome back to Lowell Park. This is Cotuit and Wareham, a battle for first place in the Western Division. We've been looking forward to this one. So glad that you could join us. Sam Niederman, alongside my good friend Aram Layton, our entire Kettleers broadcast crew standing by. Aram, it's a matchup of a couple of familiar foes. These two were rivals last season. Wareham swept the Kettleers in the first round of the 2018 postseason. The last time that they came here to Lowell Park, it was a disaster, a 15-6 win in Game 2 of the postseason that put Wareham into the next round and ousted Cotuit to go home for the summer. That was a nightmarish ninth inning. Wareham posted up 10 runs on 9 hits. That's well in the rearview mirror. It's probably the last time we'll mention that this summer. But one of the big storylines heading into this one, Wareham's manager Jerry Weinstein was on the Kettleers staff last season as the pitching coach, catching coordinator, and bench coach under Mike Roberts. This year, he's the head honcho across the canal, coaching the Gatemen for his second stint. Actually, was a Wareham manager in 2016. Now he's the head manager in 2019, up against his old friend and Mike Roberts. Those two met at home plate, shook hands with the umpires, and got set. Coach Weinstein back in Cotuit. It's great to have him back here at Lowell Park. Unfortunately, in the wrong colors, coaching the Gatemen. What do you expect between these two friendly foes in the managing battle today, and just these two teams that have developed a nice rivalry over the course of the last summer plus?
Well, it's really exciting because we're talking about two coaches that know each other's coaching styles, right? So do they stray from that coaching style? Do they try and go a different route where, Coach Roberts steals a lot of bases? Does Coach Weinstein pitch out more? He's a catching guy. It's all the little chess moves that I'm really excited. It's going to be all the little things in this ball game between these two coaches. I think it's going to be a chess match between Coach Weinstein and Coach Roberts.
It should be fun. Both have plenty of coaching experience. Mike Roberts in the college ranks, 20 years with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Jerry Weinstein with all kinds of affiliated ball experience, various roles within the Colorado Rockies organization, including some minor league coaching and international coaching, most recently with Team Israel at the 2017 World Baseball Classic. Multiple ceremonial first pitches this afternoon here at Lowell Park. It's Teachers and Scholars Day, honoring our teachers and scholars around the community here in the Cotuit area. Multiple first pitches, double first pitches actually, with the dual catchers and dual throws. Pretty good to see, and all of them were on target. A nice little festival set up by our very own Don Lassier, one of our great events coordinators here on the Kettleers staff and in our Kettleers family. Great day at the ballpark. Actually a nicer day. Yesterday against Chatham obviously rained out. That game has been rescheduled to next Monday, June the 24th, with first pitch coming at 7 p.m. live from Veterans Field. We'll cover it just like normal, so no more off day next Monday. That's a makeup game against Chatham. This begins a string of 9 consecutive games scheduled for the Kettleers without an off day, going up to a week from tomorrow, next Thursday. What do you expect with the kind of grind that this ball club is about to face?
Well, the good thing about this Kettleers team is it's deep. We talk about how many outfielders they have, how many arms they have. That's got to be something that's going to help this team with 9 games in 8 days. It's going to be all hands on deck. So we got to look for those guys that maybe aren't playing as much, that are coming off the bench, to step up and make a difference, because there's going to be a lot of taxing on these arms and the guys in the field.
Wareham set to come to the plate first. Let's get you a starting lineup. Jerry Weinstein, the manager, his second stint in Wareham, second season as a Cape Cod Baseball League manager. He's back in Lowell Park, just one summer removed from being Mike Roberts' bench coach and pitching coach. His starting lineup produced a 4-2-1 record through opening week. The Gatemen lead the Cape League in batting average with a 286 clip, second in OBP at 368, and third in slugging at 380. Leadoff batter, Braden Ward, a center fielder. Right behind him, Darren Baker, son of Dusty Baker, the second baseman, who also bats second. Andrew Thomas, the 3 batter. He's a designated hitter. Cameron Guangareno, the catcher, batting cleanup. Jacob Teeter, the first baseman, batting 5th. Benjamin Sims, the shortstop, in the 6th spot. Dallas Beaver, the third baseman, batting 7th. Mike Antico, the left fielder, batting 8th. And Tora Asuka, the right fielder, rounding things out in the 9th spot. Joe Barron, a left-handed pitcher from East Stroudsburg University, a D2 school in Pennsylvania, gets the start, his second appearance on the season. Once again for Jerry Weinstein's Wareham Gatemen, Braden Ward in center, Baker in second, Thomas the DH, Guangareno behind the plate, Teeter at first, Sims at short, Beaver at third, Antico in left, and Asuka in right field. Barron, the lefty, on the mound, opposite another lefty out of NC State for the Kettleers. Evan Justice gets the call, 6'4", 190 pounds, a junior from Richmond, Virginia. His second start on the season, no record with a 6.00 earned run average. He went 3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 2 hits, walking 2, and only striking out 1 in his first start against Chatham. Real quick arm, one key to watch for on the mound with the southpaw today.
Well, he's a 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, changeup. I think against a lot of these right-handed hitters, it's about locating that changeup and getting those righties out.
Set for some baseball at Lowell Park, a beautiful Wednesday afternoon at the Yard. The Kettleers and the Gatemen, game number 8 on the 2019 summer. Braden Ward stands in to start things off for Wareham. The center fielder bats from the left side. Evan Justice, the windup and delivery. Fastball runs up and in, ball 1, and we are underway. First pitch starts out, 5:02 Eastern Time, just a couple minutes behind. Colton Kessler does the catching today. Justice the 1-0. Ward shows bunt and squeezes it off the left side, foul, 1-1. Cotuit starting defense. Casey Schmidt, the third baseman. Got a couple of days off. Cam Williams saw time at third. Even Matt Mervis on Sunday in Game 2 against YD. But Schmidt back at the hot corner. Adam Oviedo, the shortstop. Nick Gonzalez, the second baseman. Mason Dodd at first base. Justice misses way outside with a fastball. 2-1 to Ward. Aubrey Major back in left field after missing some time with a leg injury. Cam Hill starts in center field. And Parker Chavers, the right fielder. Another fastball up and in. 3 balls and a strike on Braden Ward. Wareham in the road, blue tops on gray pants. Red letters and numbers, and the Wareham W on the left front panel of the jersey. Little looping ground ball to Gonzalez at short. 1 down over at first. Good play by Nick charging that baseball. And Ward's retired to begin the top of the first.
It's a lineup that's favorable for Justice. I mentioned locating the changeup to the right-handed hitters, but in his favor, top 3 hitters are lefties.
Including this one at the plate, Darren Baker, the second baseman. 1 down and nobody aboard. Justice misses with a curveball high and away. 1 ball and no strikes to the son of former Major League player and manager Dusty Baker. Darren, an infielder at Cal Berkeley. He actually leads the Cape League right now in hits with 11. Off to a really nice start. Hit .306 with the Bears this past spring. 2-0 from Justice. Fastball on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. No score at the top of the first. Nobody on and 1 out. Baker at the plate. 2-1, shot right up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Darren Baker comes up with his 12th hit of the season already. And he gives Wareham some life. One runner on with one down, and the number 3 batter, Andrew Thomas, due up. It's just pretty crazy how time flies. Darren Baker, you probably know him from the 2002 World Series, where he was famously rescued at home plate by J.T. Snow on a run-scoring double, in which he was the bat boy for the San Francisco Giants and his dad's club. And he went out to home plate during the live action, and J.T. Snow had to scoop him off the diamond before anybody ran him over. And it was one of the cuter and more memorable moments in terms of a father-son duo in World Series history and baseball history, for that matter. Baker leads at first, held on by Dodd. Justice slings over to check on him. Nothing doing. Andrew Thomas, the next batter. Third consecutive left-handed bat, as Arm told you earlier. Casey Schmidt in by a step at third base. Oviedo shades towards second at short. Justice to the plate out of the stretch. Fastball low, ball 1.
And, of course, Baker's a threat to run on first base. 21 of 21 this past season at Berkeley. He was second in the Pac-12 in stolen bases.
He's got speed, adjusting his right wrist guard. Shuffles off for a couple more steps on his lead. 1 out, 1 on in the 0-1. Thomas twists it to first, taken by Dodd. Scoop turn to second, dug out by Oviedo. Nice play there to get the force. Thomas safe at first. Baker retired on a fielder's choice 3-6 for the second out of the inning.
That was a close play. I thought at first maybe Dodd would just take the sure out at first with the speed of Baker that we were just talking about. Looked like he almost double clutched there, spiked the ball, and it was a nice pick by Oviedo to pick up his first baseman, Dodd.
No score, top of 1. Cleanup batter for Wareham comes to the plate. Cameron Guangareno, the catcher, another left-handed bat. Thomas, the runner on first. Dodd holds him on. Schmidt plays in on a step at the grass at third and shifts into the middle of the left side of the infield. Oviedo more up the middle at short. Justice another throw to check on the runner and Thomas. Two down and a runner aboard for Wareham. Scoreless in the visiting half of the first. Justice misses way inside with a fastball. 93 miles an hour, 1 ball and no strikes to Guangareno. A catcher out of Cal State Fullerton with a slightly open stance, ahead in the count, 1-0. Hit .261 in 50 games this past season. And he takes on the outside corner a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cotuit in the home white unis today. The pinstripes trimmed in maroon. Kettleers across the chest. Maroon caps with the silver script C on the front. Justice from the stretch. 1-1. Swing and a miss by Guangareno. Got him on a low and in fastball. It's 1-2.
Justice almost has that little bit of hesitation as he breaks his hands and starts going towards home plate. Almost throws off the hitter a little bit. It's a pretty interesting way to try and throw off the hitter's timing.
1-2. Bouncing ball right side. Gonzalez at second. Mid-level backhand pick. Good throw to first. 3 down. Nicely done by Evan Justice to work around 1 base hit. And Wareham comes up empty. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on base. And we're on to the bottom of the second. Cotuit at the plate when we come back. No score. The Kettleers and the Gatemen. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Mike Roberts sends up a new lineup to the plate that goes like this. Nick Gonzalez is the leadoff man. He plays second base. Aubrey Major, the left-handed batter, who is the left fielder and plays second, or bats second. Araj Anu, the designated hitter, batting third. Parker Chavers, the right fielder, in the cleanup spot. Casey Schmidt bats fifth and plays third base. Cam Hill bats sixth and plays in center field. Adam Oviedo, the shortstop, in the seventh spot. Mason Dodd, the first baseman, batting eighth. And Colton Kessler behind the plate, batting ninth. Evan Justice, a right-hander, the starting pitcher. He worked around a single in the first inning. Once again, for Mike Roberts, Cotuit, Kettleers, Gonzalez at second, Major in left, Anu the DH, Chavers at right, Schmidt at third, Hill in center, Oviedo at short, Dodd at first, Kessler behind the plate. And that lineup's opposite a left-handed pitcher, Joe Barron, a D2 product on Cape Cod for his second summer, with Wareham for his second summer. What do you look for at the plate today for the Kettleers to be successful?
Well, he's a disciplined guy. He's not going to blow it by you. He had some success for the Gatemen last year, like you mentioned. 11 and 2/3 innings, struck out 15 to a 2.31 ERA. He's crafty. He's going to make you get yourself out. But he can also sneakily strike you out with 15 in just 11 and 2/3. So being patient, letting the ball get deep, and driving it to all fields, because he's one of those guys that'll just nip at the corners and use all of his pitches.
No score, bottom of one. Kettleers set to get things started at the plate. Nick Gonzalez, the All-American from New Mexico State, climbs in. Right-handed batter. Barron, the lefty, works out of the stretch exclusively, and he deals in a fastball low, ball one. Gonzalez was showing bunt. He pulled it back in time. Nick's off to a really solid start this summer. 5 for his first 21 with a home run, 4 driven in. 1-0, fastball that tags the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez on a 7-game on-base streak to open up the year. Tied for the league lead in walks with 7. His patient approach is something that's really stuck out. Curveball by Barron down low, 2 balls and a strike.
And we've seen pitchers not really want to give in to him, and it's understandable with the year he just put up. And I think you just have to count on him being able to break out as he starts to really see more pitches to hit.
2-1, nipped off foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wareham starting defense, Dallas Beaver at third base, Benjamin Sims the shortstop. Darren Baker at second base, Jacob Teeter the first baseman. Cameron Guangareno is the catcher behind home plate. 2-2. Change-up low and in, full count now on Gonzalez. Mike Antico, the left fielder. Braden Ward roams in center field, and Tora Asuka, the right fielder. 3-2. Fastball way up and outside, and Gonzalez works his 8th walk of the season right on cue to lead things off in the bottom of the first.
It seems like almost every single at-bat he's working a full count back from 2 strikes, and like we mentioned, he's going to start hitting those pitches. Right now it seems like he's a tick off. He's fouling off those good pitches to hit, but even when he's off, he's still able to battle back and work these walks.
Now Aubrey Major's turn with Gonzalez on first, nobody out. No score in the bottom of 1. Major takes on the outside corner, a fastball for strike 1. Major off to a surprising hot start. A temp player that only played in a limited amount of games with Brewster last year. He joins Cotuit this season, and he's 8 for his first 14 with a league-best 4 doubles. Junior out of Xavier University in Cincinnati has impressed in almost every facet of the game. Defensively, his lanky, long stride as a gazelle on the base paths. He's done just about everything, but he's down in an 0-2 hole here after a swing and a miss on a curveball.
And you hope that little tweak he had in his leg doesn't kill his momentum, because you mentioned how hot he was. He probably had to be one of the hottest hitters in the entire Cape League. Fortunately, he was able to not miss too much time.
0-2 from Barron. Fastball low and out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Major missed last Sunday's matchup with a leg injury. He's back in Mike Roberts' starting lineup today, here in the 2-hole. Barron steps off. Bottom 1, scoreless ball game. Gonzalez on first after a leadoff walk. Held on by Teeter. Middle infield at double play depth. 1-2 curve in the dirt. Appeal down to first base. Umpire says that Major held up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Overcast day here in Cotuit. nicer day than we expected with all the rain yesterday. Temperature right at 70 degrees. Barron a look over to Gonzalez. Just a walk in the park throw. Lots of folks joining us here at Lowell Park. Plenty of folks on the third base side grandstand. First base side a little more sparse, but still a great amount have turned out for this one. Major slices it off foul on the right side. He stays alive with a 2-2 count.
I love how the Kettleer fans would rather pack it in all tightly on the third base home side than have all their space on the away side. They all like to sit together, and that's part of the tradition here at Lowell Park.
Plenty of fans line up along the left field line on lawn chairs, including two of our best pals in Terry Moran and Ken Jones, who were with us on Sunday at YD for a little donut burger action. Gonzalez on first, nobody out. 2-2. Major chops it past third, foul. You can also spot a lot of gold roster sheets. The rosters that the Kettleers hand out are a bright shade of gold, like a golden ticket. And that's a really good sign that the fans are into the game. They want to know who's who. They want to learn the players and score the game. And you can see plenty of them down on the concourse. No score, bottom of the first. Gonzalez on first base. Major still battling here at the plate. Nobody out. Barron, the 2-2. Curveball just whipped away, foul.
Great job by the first two hitters here for the Kettleers to make Barron work. He's already thrown 15 pitches to the first two batters. And Aubrey Major settling in here, seeing a lot of pitches, and it benefits the rest of the lineup, seeing what Barron has in his arsenal. So many pitches in, just two batters in.
Gonzalez leans back into first. Barron to the plate, low fastball. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Major. Cotuit and Wareham scoreless in the home half of 1. 1 on and nobody out. Barron a throw over to check on Gonzalez again. Barron a little lefty on the mound. Only stands at 5'10". He's closed off out of the stretch. 3-2. Looped just down the left field line, but foul again. Major keeps on stringing out this at-bat. Scoreless, bottom of 1. Gonzalez the lead at first. 3-2. Poked into right. That's down for a base hit. Gonzalez wheeling around second, going into third. Asuka's throw cut off by Baker. And Cotuit's got first and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Cannot say enough about that at bat. Falling behind with 2 strikes, just battles back, looks at the pitches that are away and off the plate, takes a couple pitches in the dirt, wastes a few more 2-strike pitches, and then punches a ball the other way for a base hit and to get Gonzalez to third. Now first and third, nobody out, and you got your power hitters in the middle of the order. Of course, first is Arajanu.
Here's Arajanu, the switch-hitting power hitter, the DH who bats from the right side. And he lines the first pitch into the air at second, and Baker climbs the ladder to make the play. Darren Baker with some serious bunnies at second base to rob Anu of a potential run-scoring base hit. 1 down here in the bottom of the first.
And what a grab by Baker. Not only did he get up high, he timed it perfectly because it wasn't absolutely laced off of the bat, but it was hit hard enough to where he still had to leap. He didn't have time to retreat. And a great grab by Baker to steal a run from the Kettleers early in the first.
First and third for Cotuit with 1 out now. Parker Chavers climbs in. Left-handed batting right fielder takes a breaking pitch above the belt for ball 1. No score in the home half of 1. Gonzalez a leadoff walk. Major battled at the plate to deliver a base hit into right field. And then Anu just lined out to second base. Fastball on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chavers. Another welcomed addition to the Kettleers starting lineup. He's off to a great start. Was the hero in the tie against YD with a go-ahead 2-run double. Two balls and 1 strike to the Coastal Carolina outfielder. He hits one hard on the ground to second. Baker shovels to Sems at short. Throw on to first. Dug out nicely by Teeter. 4-6-3, a double play for Wareham to get out of the bottom of the first unscathed. Kettleers unable to come up empty, unable to come up with anything on the scoreboard, and they come up empty here in the first. No runs on one hit, no errors, and a couple left on the corners, and we are on to the bottom of the top of the second inning. We'll be right back in just a moment. 0-0 between Cotuit and Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Cotuit, hope you're having a great Wednesday. Top of the second, Kettleers and Wareham scoreless. Sam Neiman alongside Arm Layton. Glad that you could join us. Hello, Cape League Baseball, second week of the summer. Battle between the two teams tied atop the Western Division. Wareham and Cotuit both at 4-2-1 to open up the campaign here on Cape Cod. Evan Justice back out onto the mound. He's up against 5, 6, and 7 in the Wareham order, beginning with Jacob Teeter, the left-handed batting first baseman. Justice slings in a good changeup, swing and a miss, strike one. Mike Roberts has been aligning his defense this same way against left-handed bats going back against the YD Red Sox on Sunday. Casey Schmidt plays in at third. Teeter skies one, shallow right field. Chavers running in, Gonzalez also back. Chavers curves in and finally makes the catch for out number one. Justice gets a leadoff man. Here comes Benjamin Sems with one down and nobody aboard. Looks like another tough day to catch a fly ball with a kind of off-white colored sky above. Sems another left-handed bat. He shows bunt and takes a fastball low for ball one. No score in the top of the second inning. Wareham left a runner on first in the top of the first. Cotuit left the runners on the corners in the bottom of the first. 1-0 to Sims. Fastball over the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Schmidt still plays in by a couple of steps at third base, and he plays almost halfway between second and third. Oviedo up the middle at short. High and tight fastball from Justice. 2 balls and 1 strike now on Sims. 2-1. Another fastball that nicks off Kessler's glove inside. 3 balls and a strike. Dodd almost hugs the line at first base for Cotuit. And Gonzalez shifted way to the right. 3-1. Another fastball that runs in. And it's a 5-pitch walk to Benjamin Sims to give Wareham another base runner. Man on first with 1 out here in the top of the second. Here's Dallas Beaver, Wareham's third baseman. The 7th left-handed bat in Jerry Weinstein's order. Runner on first and Sems with 1 out. No score here in the top of the second. Justice out of the stretch. Slider low and away for ball one. Schmidt right on the edge of the grass at third still. Oviedo almost directly behind the bag at shortstop. 1-0. Fastball at the shins, 2-0. Wareham got swept against Chatham. Swept Chatham on Father's Day to get 2 games up in the standings to get to first place. Justice a look at Sems at first. Peers back to home plate, and now time called behind home plate. The runner resets at first. That Father's Day matchup, a rematch of the 2018 Cape League Championship Series. Wareham, the defending champions, winning their 8th title in franchise history last summer. Justice, the 2-0. Bouncing ball, left side, through the hole in the shift and into left for a base hit. Sems digging into third. He stays there. And Wareham gets first and third with 1 out here in the top of the 2nd inning. A base hit by Dallas Beaver.
We've seen the shift kind of come back to bite the Kettleers a couple times these last few ball games. Obviously, it's something that glares out more when it works against you than when it works in your favor, but we'll see if Coach Roberts keeps sticking to those shifts against left-handed hitters, because they've been seeming to poke it through a little bit so far this season.
It'll be interesting here with runners on the corners and only 1 out here in the top of the 2nd inning. Mike Antico, another left-handed bat, due up. Colton Kessler comes out from behind home plate to signal on his chest protector the signs to the infield. Looks like Cotuit is set to play it straight up, or at least at double play depth. No score, top of the 2nd. Wareham with runners on 1st and 3rd, and Antico at the plate, the number 8 batter who plays in left field. Justice comes set out of the stretch and comes to the plate. Fastball lasered away on the left side over the grandstand. Strike 1.
Barron was able to wiggle out of a 1st and 3rd 1-out situation. Actually, no-out situation. We'll see if Justice can do the same thing.
Justice steps off. Antico steps out and now climbs back in. 1st and 3rd with 1 out. No score in the 2nd. 0-1. Antico bunts just behind the home plate the catcher and Kessler. That's strike 2. Wareham and Cotuit met plenty in the regular season last year. You play your divisional opponent 6 times. Wareham won the regular season series 3-1-2. There were 2 ties. Both of those came here at Lowell Park. 0-2. Fastball off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Antico. And then, of course, Wareham got the better of Cotuit in the postseason, sweeping the Kettleers 2-0 in the opening round. Beaver on first, Sems on third, 1 out. Double play depth, the 1-2. Popped up, left side. Foul ground tracking into the stands, and it goes right into the heart of the fans. Looks like nobody got hurt, though. You could just hear the thud of the wooden bleachers. Looked like there was a little kid in the area, or 2 little kids, and that's why the fans are clapping. Both of them are okay. First and third with 1 out. Justice set for the 1-2. Breaking pitch, fended into the air, foul, back onto the concourse.
Great spot for that breaking pitch from Justice. It's something that either the batter is going to swing through or barely be able to spoil. He can't beat you by hitting that pitch. A curveball just off the plate away.
Teeter flew out to right, Sems walked, and Beaver singled to make it 1st and 3rd. Move over to first to check on Beaver. Nothing doing, though. Cotuit potentially could have took a lead in the bottom of the 1st inning, but Arajanu was robbed at second base by Darren Baker with a leaping catch. And then a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. 1-2 runs all the way inside and hits Antico square in the back. Justice loads the baseman. Antico, a hit batsman here in the top of the 2nd inning. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with only 1 out. And Cotuit's got to find a way to get out of this jam. Number 9 batter due up in Tora Asuka. Kessler comes out for a mound visit to check on the lefty and Justice. Here's Tora Asuka, right fielder out of the University of San Diego. Was actually supposed to come to the Kettleers last season, but then an injury sidelined him for the summer. Now he joins the Wareham Gatemen and has a chance to give his team the lead. The bases loaded and 1 out. Justice first pitch, lined into left field, down for a single. Sems comes in to score. Everybody up a base. An RBI base knock by Tora Asuka to make it 1-0 Wareham here in the top of the second.
Really good job by Asuka there to just take what was pitched to him. Fastball in the outer half, let it get deep and drove it the other way. And Justice is going to have to try and induce a ground ball here and get out of this.
Everybody just moved up 90 feet. Antico to second, Beaver to third. Asuka, a run-scoring single on first. And back to the top of the Wareham lineup, Braden Ward, the leadoff man. 0 for 1 with a bounce out to second base. Justice still out of the stretch. Slings in, strike one. Slider on the outside corner. 1-0 Wareham here at the top of the second inning. A fly out, a single. Or a fly out, a walk, a single. A hit batsman, and a single to drive in a run so far in this frame. Justice the 0-1. Breaking pitch, grounded to short. Oviedo, Gonzalez, throw on to Dodd, not nearly in time. It's good enough for just the second out of the inning. Ward safe at first. That allows the second run of the frame to come home and score. Beaver scores from third. Score at 6-4 on a fielder's choice. 2-0 Wareham. So 2 runs home now for Wareham, top of the second. First and third with 2 outs, and Darren Baker back at the plate. 1 for 1 with a single to center his last time up. Justice unleashes, and Baker flares it into left center field. That's in for a hit. Another run home to score on Antico. Majors throw into third, not in time. Darren Baker comes up with an RBI double to make it 3-0 Wareham here in the second.
And it's tough because these are left-handed hitters hitting the ball off the southpaw Justice, but once again, he's trying to nip at that outside corner. These lefties are letting it get deep, and they're driving it the other way, and they have the scouting report, and they're doing a really good job of executing it.
Mike Roberts might sense that it's just not his starter's day. Evan Justice has worked an inning and 2/3, but so far he's allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. All of those runs coming here in this inning. There's activity in the Cotuit bullpen for the moment. Chris Holcomb, a lefty, getting loose. It doesn't look like Coach Roberts is ready for a pitching change just yet, but Wareham's bottom of the order has produced some scoring here in the second. RBI single by Asuka, RBI fielder's choice by Ward, and Baker with an RBI hit. And just like that, 3-0 Wareham here in the top of the second inning. Mike Roberts, a long conversation on the hill with his entire infield, Justice and Kessler. The home plate umpire comes out to the mound to say, all right, fellas, let's speed it up. Roberts goes back to the dugout. No pitching change. Justice responsible for at least getting out of this inning, only having his team down 3-0. Number 3 batter up at the plate for Wareham, Andrew Thomas, the designated hitter out of Baylor University.
You feel like the turning point of this inning here was that 2-strike hit by pitch to Antico, where if he was able to get that out, you just get the sense that they wouldn't have strung together all of these hits.
Baker on second, Ward on third. 2 down, 3-0 Wareham. First pitch to Thomas. Slider down for a strike, just on the bottom part of the zone. No balls and 1 strike. Three runs already home for Wareham in this inning. Thomas 0 for 1, reaching on a fielder's choice in the first inning. 0-1 from Justice. Slider dashes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Thomas, part of a really solid Baylor University baseball program. One. Breaking pitch on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Justice. Of course, Baylor produced a couple of draft picks this past draft, including Davis Wenzel, who played on Hyannis in the Cape League last summer. Went 41st overall to the Texas Rangers. 2 in scoring position with 2 out. Here's a 1-2. Way outside, and Kessler smothers it in the other batter's box. Good dig.
And there's no other word for that than smothers it. It bounced about 5 feet in front of home plate, and he dove head first to just make sure he could knock it down and keep that run at third base.
Could be a crucial play. You just never know. But Justice has got to find a way out of this inning. He's 1 pitch away from doing so. 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. 3-0 ball game to Wareham, and the 2-2 to Thomas. Last towards second, 1 hop. Gonzalez takes it 6 feet into the outfield and is able to gun it onto first in the nick of time for out number 3. So Wareham gets on the board first. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and a couple left in scoring position. But Cotuit gets a chance at the plate when we come back. We have played 1.5, Wareham 3, and Cotuit nothing. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Out of the gate, Wareham posted up 3 in the top of this 3rd inning, up to the middle of the Cotuit order to get some of it back. Casey Schmidt, Cam Hill, and Adam Oviedo. Joe Barron still on the hill for Wareham. The little lefty deals in a curveball, ball 1. Casey Schmidt back at the starting lineup at third base today. He stands in from the right side and takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. He's been a run producer for the Kettleers. 3 for his first 19 with a home run and 5 driven in. Foul ball off to the right side, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Has also pitched a little bit too. Coach Mike Roberts holding him as a two-way guy for the moment to create some roster space, but the long-term plan for him this summer is to be a position player. Kettleers put in a fresh batch of reinforcements on Monday. A pair of North Carolina State arms getting here in Reed Johnston and Nick Sweeney, along with Duke utility man Joey Loperfido. 1-2. Curveball, hammered away, foul down the right field line. We're only a week in, but we're really starting to see this Cotuit roster take shape.
And we talk about the depth, how important it is, especially with the 9 games coming up in 8 days.
1-2, hit up the middle. A skip right in front of Baker at second. He tries to recover with a bare hand twirling throw, but unable to get the runner and Schmidt at time. Casey Schmidt aboard on what will likely be called an infield hit. No, they're going to score at E4. And Darren Baker has already had a busy day at second base. Nearly made another tremendous play there.
And Baker's a sure-handed second baseman, all Pac-12 defensive team. That was a tough play, kind of in between hop. Not sure if you can catch it on a fly or sit back and grab it. He got caught in between, and Schmidt's able to get aboard.
Leadoff batter aboard for the Kettleers. Cam Hill lays down a bunt, and it squibs up the third baseline foul. No balls and 1 strike to the number 6 batter in the Cotuit lineup. Hill has primarily hit leadoff for the Kettleers, but Mike Roberts drops him down a little bit. 5 for his first 18. A Cape League best 9 runs scored and 6 stolen bases. Hill has reached in all 6 of his starts this summer. Schmidt on first, nobody out. 0-1, bunted up the third base line. This time it trickles foul again. No balls and 2 strikes. Sacrifice might be out of play here with an 0-2 count. Wareham plays the middle of their infield at double play depth.
The crazy thing is you never know with Cam Hill. We've seen him square in almost every at-bat this season, at least at some point in the at-bat. And you know he's confident in his ability to get the ball down.
Schmidt takes the lead at first. Held on by Teeter. 0-2, bunted. Foul behind home plate. And that's strike 3. So Hill indeed does sell out to try and move the runner over with a sacrifice bunt. Unable to execute on 3 pitches. A strikeout. 1 down, 1 on still for Adam Oviedo. 3-0 Wareham, bottom of the second inning. 1 on and 1 out for Ovi. Batting 7th today from the right side. Barron's first pitch. Fastball that dives low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Wareham took a 3-0 lead in the top of the second inning. RBI hit by Osuka. Ward an RBI fielder's choice, and Baker an RBI hit. 1-0. Breaking pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. Barron set, a leg lift, and a throw over to first to check on Schmidt. Nothing doing. Top of 2, 1 out and 1 on. 3-0 Wareham. 1 ball and 1 strike to Adam Oviedo. Pitch from Barron. Breaking ball in the dirt. Dug out by Juan Guerrero behind home plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. Oviedo just finished up his second season at Texas Christian. He is set to transfer to Oral Roberts University in the fall for his junior and senior seasons. Two-one fastball in there on the lower part of the zone. Called for a strike, 2-2. Oviedo set to make a short little transition from the DFW area up to Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's the home of Oral Roberts. Not too far away from his home state in Texas. 2-2. Breaking pitch, cast on the left side, past Beaver, and past a diving Sems into left for a base hit. Adam Oviedo keeps the train rolling. A 1-out single to move Schmidt up to second. 2 on for Mason Dodd, who's due up next.
Nice to see Oviedo get hot after a rough start when he first got to Cotuit. 2 home runs in the last ball game. Now squeaks out a single, and he seems to really be finding his groove finally out there.
You mentioned the big 2 home run performance at White Arm. That was huge. Everybody had a home run, it seemed like, that day. Kettleers had 4 of them on solo shots before they rallied to score 5 in the 7th and tie White. Mason Dodd fouls off a first pitch breaking ball, strike 1.
I think Dodd's a guy you can put right below Aubrey Major as one of the pleasant surprises on this Kettleer team, and a guy that's turned into a really big producer so far early in the season.
7 for his first 22, a home run and 5 driven in. 0-1. Fastball inside on the thighs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Maybe he's got a chance to drive in more here. Oviedo on first, Schmidt on second. Kettleers trailing 3-0 in the bottom of the second inning. 1-1 fastball lifted in the air. Right field. Asuka's got a beat on it. Still moving over to his right, and he makes the catch for out number 2.
Good
Dodd
job.
retired. Here comes Colton Kessler, the number 9 batter.
Good job by Barron so far to have these left-handed hitters off of balance, kind of lunging at some of those off-speed pitches. He's getting them to pop it up and hit weak ground balls, and that's his recipe for success. Like we mentioned, he's not a guy that's going to blow it by you, but he's a guy that can get you off balance and on that front foot.
Barron, a former 22nd round pick in 2018 by the Milwaukee Brewers. He's got the stuff. He was a D2 stud over the past couple of years. Colton Kessler flies one to left. And Tico has it, and that's the third out of the inning. Kettleers don't get anything on the scoreboard again. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and a couple runners left on base. We have played 2 complete. Wareham up 3-0. We'll be right back in just a moment. Arm Layton's got the play-by-play here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Evan Justice will try and bounce back from a rough second inning. He will get the heart of this order for Wareham. It's Cameron Guangareno, Jacob Teeter, and Benjamin Sims.
Interesting to see Evan Justice still out on the mound for the Kettleers after a tough second inning arm. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. But Mike Roberts, I think, really wants to get the most out of his starters as he can. Remember, 9 games in 8 days coming up for the Kettleers. You want to save your bullpen, and you want to see your starters charge through some adversity. And Justice has a great opportunity to do that here.
So the first pitch is taken up high for ball 1. A lot of left-handed hitters in this Wareham lineup, something that you'd think would work in Justice's favor, but they were able to string together a lot of base hits. The 1-0. Curveball on the inside corner, strike 1, 1-1.
Isn't it crazy? Jerry Weinstein penciled in 9 left-handed batters in his entire lineup. All 9 of them.
Unbelievable. The 1-1. Flowing out to center field. Cam Hill has a beat on it. He'll trot right under it and make the grab. So quickly 1 away as Evan Justice seems like he's starting to settle in a little bit. And he'll bring up Jacob Teeter, the 6'6" first baseman out of Florida Southern.
That's a good start. He's now retired the leadoff batter in all 3 frames.
The first pitch to Teeter. It's grounded out to first base. Dodd feels it on a hop, runs over to flip it over to Justice and gets the out just in time. Dodd thought about taking it himself, realized he might not make it in time. Justice was over there quickly and able to just get to the bag in time on the flip. So 2 quick outs for Evan Justice, and that'll bring up Benjamin Sims, the shortstop.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Curry College at curry.edu.
So 0-1 to the shortstop Sims. And he takes a fastball right on the outer half. 0-2. So Justice settling in here in the third. Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Fastball misses away. Kessler set up way off the plate there. It's rare to get that call from the umpire. They usually won't bite on that. So the 1-2. Grounded over to first base. But they'll say it's off of Sims' foot, and it'll be a foul ball. And Coach Roberts disagrees. He's out to talk to the home plate umpire, Frank Auditori. It was tough to see off the bat. The ball did take a funky hop towards the first baseman, Mason Dodd.
Well, if you just heard on the shotgun mic there, Coach Roberts saying you have never seen a ball go that high off a foot.
And it's a good point, but it looked like it took a funky hop to begin with. And he swings through the next pitch anyway, so the ball never lies. Strike three. And a 1-2-3 inning for Evan Justice, who bounces back. And we'll go into the bottom of the third as Cotuit tries to finally scrape onto the scoreboard. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. For the Kettleers order against the lefty Joe Barron. It'll be Nick Gonzalez, Aubrey Major, and Araja New as the Kettleers try and scrape at that 3-0 lead. Gonzalez walked in his first at-bat, worked a full count. So he takes the first pitch down and in for ball one. Kettleers had something cooking in the first inning. Nick Gonzalez reached on a walk. Aubrey Major sent him to third on a base hit. 1-0 gets the outer half for strike one. But then Darren Baker made a leaping grab to rob Araja New, and then Parker Shavers grounded into a double play. And that was that for the bottom of the first. 1-1 swung through and missed. A good changeup. So now 1-2. Nick Gonzalez will try and battle back from two strikes again. Gonzalez takes that pitch outside. First base umpire says he did not go on the check swing. Gonzalez has been a tough guy to strike out all year long, or all summer long rather, and all year long through the spring. Just one strikeout so far this season. 2-2 misses away. 3-2 as Nick Gonzalez seemingly works a full count every single at bat. So Gonzalez will await the payoff pitch. Aubrey Major waits on deck. The 3-2. Taken down, another walk for Nick Gonzalez.
Wow. This guy down in the count again, Arm. 1-2 again, and he's able to work a walk. It just never seems like he's out of the fight with 2 strikes. Just so calm up there, the way he carries himself, really impressive. And his patience has to be standing out to all the scouts that are in attendance today.
First pitch, fastball, inside corner, strike 1. And the numbers will come. The batting average isn't reflective of what he's been doing at the plate. We know he's a guy that can slug the ball to all fields. Hit for power, he's fast, he's a 5-tool guy. As Major grounds one out to the shortstop Sims, who flips and takes it himself, actually. The throw on to first is not in time on a hop. Aubrey Major beats it out. So Sims thought about flipping it to second base, decided to hold on to it, tagged second base, and tried to throw it himself. Short hopped the first baseman Teeter, and Aubrey Major was able to leg it out. Good to see from a guy who had just come off a little leg tweak just a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's another trait of his that a lot of the scouts are about to see today, and they just saw it there, how he can get up the line.
Swing and a miss from Mirage Anu, who was robbed by that Darren Baker leaping catch at second base in the first inning. Anu, the switch hitter from the right side against the southpaw. Modest lead from Major at first. Swing and a miss. Mirage Anu quickly behind 0-2. Shavers waits on deck. Barron comes set, checks on Major at first, kicks and deals. Fastball up and in. One and two to the power hitting 3-hitter today, and DH Anu. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by the catcher. It'll be 2-2 now. So Major, typically a threat to run at first. We mentioned still coming back from that injury. We'll see if that keeps him a little more stationary. Barron will look over to him. Kick and deal the 2-2. Lined out to the third baseman who fields it on the hop. Throws over to second. The turn to first is in time. So that's a 5-4-3 double play there to get Barron through the third inning. So no runs on one walk, no hits, no errors, and we'll go into the top of the fourth. Wareham leads 3-0. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. There. We'll get the bottom of this Wareham order. Dallas Beaver, Mike Antico, and Tora Atsuka. First pitch to Beaver, misses down and away, ball 1. Mike Roberts looking to squeeze 4 innings out of his starter, Evan Justice, who struggled a little bit through the first 2 innings. Curveball misses at the letters, 2-0. was able to work his first 1-2-3 inning in the third. The 2-0 to Beaver. Lined over the shortstop Oviedo's head for a base hit. Aubrey Major will pick it up and throw it into the infield. So quickly, the leadoff runner is on base, Dallas Beaver, and that'll bring up Mike Antico. Antico was hit by a pitch in the second inning, a big turning point. He was behind 1-2. Got one square in the back, and that's when Wareham started stringing together the base hits. Squares to bunt, pulls it back as the ball misses down and away. Part of a 3-run second inning that still is the difference in this ball game. So Beaver, the runner on first. Antico awaits the 1-0. Casey Schmidt in on the grass playing the bunt. And a easy pickoff over to first base. Beaver able to stroll back to the bag. Antico, a senior from St. John's in Colts Neck, New Jersey. Another pickoff over to first base. Beaver in easily. 386 this past spring, 6 home runs, 13 doubles, 29 RBIs for Antico. Middle of the infield plays back for the double play. Schmidt in on the grass. Dodd holding the runner, Beaver on first. Another ball in the dirt, blocked by Kessler. Antico didn't square that time. Justice behind 2-0. Antico gets a sign from his dugout and actually looks at a wristband on his arm. A little different, something you usually don't see. You see the third base coach typically giving the signs to his hitters. Justice comes set, kicks and deals a 2-0. He's swinging away and it'll sneak through into right field. Shavers fields it and throws it into the infield as Beaver will stay at second base. So Wareham decides against the bunt, works in their favor there as Antico is able to sneak a ground ball between first and second. So now 2 runners on, nobody out, and the 9-hitter Tora Otsuka, who singled in his first at-bat, comes to the plate.
Good effort by Gonzalez there to try and dive for it. Just wasn't able to get a glove to it. Wareham sounds and looks, again, like a really good offensive outfit. That's what they were last year. Top to bottom, their lineup can produce. And this year it looks like more of the same. Much more of a balanced team. Last year's team featured the likes of Andrew Vaughn, Bryson Stott, and Austin Shenton at one point before the USA guys went their separate ways. But this year's team definitely has some dudes that can put the bat on the ball.
Otsuka bunts through a fastball. Strike one. Wareham, a team, like you mentioned, just puts the bat on the ball. Not really a threat to poke it out of the yard. Only 1 home run as a team this year, as opposed to Cotuit's 10. But a .302 team batting average is going to be tops in the league.
Yeah, they are a contact club. Definitely not a power hitting club, which is interesting, but I think Jerry Weinstein likes it that way. I think he likes the group of personnel that he's recruited.
Early square from Tora, and he gets it down. Kessler will call it, pick it up, and throw over to first, and get the out just in time to beat the hustling Tora Otsuka. So Otsuka does his job, sacrifices the 2 runners over to second and third. And so 1 away, back over to the top of the order, it's Braden Ward.
Nicely done by Colton Kessler behind home plate. The arm action on that thing, almost like a submarine delivery, snapped it with a bare hand pickup. Took command of that play and committed to it 100% to get the out at first.
A really athletic catcher back there, almost a shortstop type of arm angle, and a great play to at least get the out. So the infield is in, down 3 runs. In the top of the 4th, and Ward swings at the first pitch, line drive right up the middle. Scoring easily is Beaver, and Antico's around third, coming home, and he'll slide in just in time ahead of the throw. So a 2-run single off the bat of Braden Ward, and Wareham breaks this thing open. It's 5-0.
An assembly line of hits for Wareham again. They did it in the second inning when they posted up 3. Now 2 more come home here in the 4th, and it looks like Mike Roberts is ready to go to his bullpen for a new pitcher.
And that's just really good small ball right there. Something that Mike Roberts likes to do a lot. Just bunting the guys over and then a line drive right up the middle to score 2. So we'll wait and see who the new pitcher is. We'll have more on him when we come back from the brief break. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Southpaw, the hometown kid, Chris Holcomb. He will be pitching at Tulane this spring, transferring from Alabama. Pitched this last spring at Florida State College. 43 in the third innings pitched, a 2.08 ERA, 46 strikeouts. So the line on Justice is not quite final, but 3 in a third, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, and 1 hit by pitch. He's still responsible for the runner on first in Ward. And that brings up Darren Baker, who already is 2 for 2 on the ball game, a single and a double. And Ward on that base hit drove in his second and third RBIs already in the ball game, and we're just in the top of the fourth. Holcomb picks up over to first. Ward dives in easily.
Interesting that we see Holcomb. It's already his third appearance on the summer. Only Bo Hofstra and Joey Walsh have more.
The first pitch, Baker squares to bunt. Holcomb fields it on the ground, but he'll not have a play at first base. So a bunt single off the bat of Darren Baker. He dragged it to the first base side. Holcomb went to pick it up. Dodd took a couple steps in. Nobody was covering first, but I don't think there would have been a play there anyways. So an infield single. Baker's 3 for 3 already today.
Baker's skill set has really impressed me. He might have the air on his name right now, but he's made 2 really good defensive plays on double plays, had the leaping line drive catch to rob a new of a run-scoring hit, and he just got a bunt single there. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances. Wow.
So Andrew Thomas takes the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Thomas out of Baylor. He's a catcher for this Gatemen team, but obviously didn't catch a lot this year with Shea Langlier as the 9th overall pick in this past draft. As Ward takes third easily, was able to catch Holcomb sleeping a little bit. Darren Baker didn't run from first base. He swipes third. And now first and third. 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
And Kessler tried to throw it down there, but wasn't able to get the runner. Don't see that every day where the one runner at the lead gets to go up 90 feet and the other one stays behind, but just an awareness play by Braden Ward to move himself closer to score, and that could be big with just one out.
So Thomas played a lot of first base for Baylor this past year, hit .335, .413 on base percentage, drove in 32. As he hits one out to Nick Gonzalez at shortstop, throws it to second base Oviedo, who turns it over to Dodd for a double play. So Ward is stranded at third on a nice double play. And the Kettleers are able to keep it at 5 runs for Wareham. So it still remains 5-0. And we'll go into the bottom of the fourth. The Kettleers look to scrape at the 5-run lead. You're listening to the Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. New arm for the Gatemen. It's Brandon Fatt out of Bellarmine University, a Division II school. This past season, 3-3, 4.03 ERA, and 22 appearances. Bellarmine will actually join the Division I A Sun in 2020. First pitch to Parker Shavers. Catches a corner, strike one.
Fought a local kid from Louisville, Kentucky, went to Trinity High School, stays local with Bellarmine. Second D2 arm the Kettleers have faced today.
0-2 is a fastball that misses at the shins, 1-1.
Joe Barron worked 3 scoreless innings, only allowed 2 hits. Walked a couple of batters. Didn't strike anybody out.
Shavers takes another fastball in the outside corner, behind 1-2. Fought out of the windup, kicks and deals. Short hops home plate, and it'll be 2-2.
And if you're wondering at home, Fott spells his last name P-F-A-A-D-T. Brandon Fott.
Shavers is able to spoil a fastball, 92 miles an hour. We'll do 2-2 again.
The PF reminds me of PF Chang's now. That's what that gets me thinking of.
The PF and then the DT. It's definitely a pronunciation trial. The 2-2. Fouled straight back towards the box and right by us in the broadcasting booth. Luckily, there's a pretty strong chain link fence between us.
I got to say, Lowell Park does have the strongest barrier of fences behind home plate in all the Cape League.
The 2-2 again. Fastball got him on the inside corner. Shavers didn't like it. So one away here. Casey Schmidt, who reached on an error in the second inning, will look for his first base hit of the ball game.
I got to tell you, Frank Auditory, the home plate umpire, just rang up Shavers. That might have been the most emphatic strike three call I've seen this summer.
First pitch to Schmidt. Curveball low, ball one. Makes the strikeout sting so much more. It's like, just ring me up. You don't have to rub it in.
Yep.
The 1-0 to Schmidt. Fouled out of play. A lot of umpires take pride in their strike three call.
I would if I was. I think I would do like the hand up and then the bow and arrow.
It's your time to shine. The 1-1. Check swing. The first baseman, or the first base umpire rather, Gatemen, who says he went. So Schmidt does not check his swing. It's 1-2. Another curveball he's able to lay off this time. 2-2. Schmidt reached on an error by the second baseman, Darren Baker, who otherwise has had a great game defensively. Schmidt lays off a fastball that crowded him inside, so 3-2.
Yeah, that error at second was a tough play, a short hop. One of those little tweeners where it wasn't a pop-up that you could get under, nor was it a line drive that you could sit back on.
Line between the shortstop and third baseman for a base hit into left field. Casey Schmidt will round first base, take a look, and retreat. So the third hit of the ball game for the Kettleers is a single off the bat of Casey Schmidt. That'll bring up Cam Hill with one away.
Schmidt's been seeing the ball and hitting the ball hard in the first 8 games of this summer. That's only his 4th hit of the year, but he has really squared it up. He's hit a lot into the outfield. He's driven in runs on sac flies. I think Mike Roberts likes what he brings to the table.
Another guy who the numbers doesn't tell the whole story. They don't tell the whole story. As the season progresses, everything kind of evens out. And I'm sure Casey Schmidt will have pretty solid numbers when it's all said and done. So Cam Hill's up. He struck out trying to bunt his first at-bat. Takes a fastball for strike one. Hill tried to bunt at all 3 pitches he saw. Fouled the final one off. And he was set down as a strikeout swing in the book. So 0-1 to Hill. Swings through a changeup. So fought way ahead, 0-2 to Cam Hill. Adam Oviedo, who has one of the 3 hits of the ballgame for the Kettleers, waits on deck. The 0-2 to Hill. Swing and a miss on a changeup on the outside corner. So 2 away here. Runner on first is Casey Schmidt, and Adam Oviedo looks to extend this inning. How about these D2 guys for Wareham?
They've been looking pretty good. Barron was a pest last season for the Kettleers, and then Fott has held his own.
First pitch to Oviedo. Fastball he jumps out of the way of, ball 1. Oviedo will play at Oral Roberts this coming spring. Transfer from TCU, as you talked about earlier in the broadcast, Sam. Takes another one down and away. 2-0.
Excited for Ovi. I'm sure he's going to have a great opportunity at Oral Roberts and continue to develop his craft. He's got a great arsenal of skills already. And with him being on Cape Cod for the second summer, it can only go up.
Fastball he leans out of the way of. 3-0, way ahead. Schmidt, the runner on first base, reached on a single. Cam Hill struck out for the second time of the ballgame. And now Oviedo awaits the 3-0. He jumps out of the way of the fastball, but it somehow nicks the inside corner. Looks like Ovi was crowding the plate a little bit. And Fott's not afraid to come inside. He's tried all 4 pitches so far this at-bat. So Oviedo still ahead 3-1. He takes another fastball for strike 2. So Ovi unable to pull the trigger on 2 pitches. And that's now full. Casey Schmidt will be on the move from first base. Oviedo takes a deep breath, takes a look at his Marucci black bat, and awaits the payoff pitch. Swinging, grounds it down the line, backhanded by Beaver, who throws on a hop to first base and able to just get Oviedo. So 1 hit, no runs, no errors in the bottom of the 4th, and the Kettleers are still chasing 5. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Top of the 5th inning, Kettleers down 5-0 against the Wareham Gatemen. Cam Guangareno, Jacob Teeter, and then Benjamin Sims due up 4, 5, and 6. Chris Holcomb back on the hill for Cotuit, worked the final 2 outs of the 4th inning after he relieved Evan Justice. Looping curveball that just ducks away from the head of Guangareno, ball 1. You like that curveball, though, Aram, that Holcomb's got. It's about low 70s on the radar gun, but it's got some good action. 1-0 delivery, fastball at the letters, 2-0.
That's what you think of like the classic hook. When people used to call a curveball a hook, it really hooks around. When he locates it, it doesn't matter that it only floats up there at 70 miles an hour. It's so sharp, he's able to really get these guys to chase it.
2-0 fastball tags the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike on Guangareno. 0 for 2 with a ground out to second, fly out to center. 5-0 Wareham, top of the 5th. Schmidt plays in by a step at third. Oviedo shades towards second at short. Holcomb misses down and out with a fastball, 3-1. Wareham posted up 3 on 3 hits in the 2nd inning. 2 runs on 4 hits in the 4th inning to chase Justice out of the ballgame. 1-0. Grounded hard to second. Backhand play by Gonzalez. 1 away.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donating to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center. That's capecodhealth.org/blood center.
5-zip Wareham, top of the 5th. 1 away, nobody aboard for Jacob Teeter. Left-handed batting first baseman. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Teeter 0 for 2, a fly ball to right field, and he grounded to first base his last time up in the 3rd inning. 1-0 from Holcomb. Bending breaking ball on the outside corner. Call it for a strike, 1-1. There's that hook action you were talking about. Teeter calls for time and steps back in. Schmidt still plays right on the edge of the dirt at third. and shaded towards the middle of the left side of the infield. 1-1. Curveball that hooks way out of the zone. 2-1.
And going back to that last play, Gonzalez has looked great at second base today, something Coach Roberts said he wants to work on with his second baseman. He knows he can hit, but he's looked really comfortable going to the backhand.
Fastball out again, 90 miles an hour from Holcomb. Doesn't matter, though. 3 balls and a strike to Teeter. Talked about footwork. That's what Coach really wants to see from him, and that was really well done. 3-1. Fastball right down the middle. Called for a strike. Full count. Wareham controls 5-0 in the visiting half of the 5th. Base is empty with 1 out. Holcomb shakes off Kessler. Now winds up. 3-2. Fastball lashed away foul. Back into the parking lot. Always one of the great sights here at Lowell Park. All of the youngsters that just run around on the concourse and in the parking lot with their gloves. Such a family-friendly atmosphere here in Cotuit. Schmidt plays back at third. 3-2 pitch. Spoiled away foul again. Wareham 5 runs on 8 hits. 1 error on the road. Cotuit no runs on 3 hits and no errors at home. Winner of this game gets sole possession of first place in the West. 3-2. Fastball way up and outside. And Teeter works a 1-out walk. Holcomb unable to reel it into the zone there. Wareham's got another base runner. The Gatemen have had at least 1 person on in every inning except for the 3rd. 1 on with 1 out, and Benjamin Semmes back up at the plate. Number 6 batting shortstop. 0 for 1 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored back at the 2nd inning.
It might be hard to see on the stream, but do you notice that every single hitter in the lineup so far has had something on the knob of their bat? I'm not sure if it's one of those electronic trackers, gets the metrics on your swing. Something Jerry Weinstein's into, I guess, and something you can use, a great tool to track your players and what they're doing at the plate.
Absolutely. I forget what the device is called. Semmes down in the count, 0-1. Cotuit actually used him last year. The Kettleers used him for a game or two and during batting practice. Semmes a flare to short left center. Hill running in, and he makes the catch on the run for out number 2. Teeter goes back to first. 2 away, and here comes Dallas Beaver. I don't remember the name of that technology piece, but the Kettleers used him in batting practice at least. It's a little kind of rubber knob. How would you describe it? A cap that you put on the knob of your bat, and it gets. It just came into my head and I just missed. It's a bat motion or swing motion sensor, something like that. Blast motion. That's what it is.
I've got it up on
you
my.
Got
lap.
it.
I had to go to Amazon. I literally.
You can buy these things on the market. Wow.
$150. So I dipped into the budget a little bit for the Wareham Gatemen, but they've been hitting the ball pretty well, so can't slight them for that.
Here's Dallas Beaver, who takes a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. 5-0 Wareham, top of the 5th. Teeter on first with 2 outs. Talking about blast motion batting sensors. Little caps on the knob of the Wareham bats.
You think they get them for free?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're around the entire Cape League, but you can see them. There are little white caps on the end of the knob of each bat that Wareham has taken to the plate today. They'll give you exit velo, launch angle, all that good stuff once the game's done. Bouncing ball left side. Schmidt takes it, slings it wide of first. Dodge stretched off the bag, wasn't able to toe tap it with his back right heel. And that allows Beaver to reach safely, and the inning continues for Wareham.
Nothing against Dodd. He's done a good job at first base, but he is on the shorter side for a first baseman. Not naturally a first baseman. And you wonder if a little bit taller of a guy at the first base spot would have been able to maybe make that stretch.
It was a ball pretty much splitting the left side of the infield. Oviedo would have had to round it and take it with a little more depth at short, but Schmidt cut it off at third. His throw wasn't on target, so Wareham stays alive at the plate here in the top of the 5th. 2 on with 2 out for Mike Antico, left-handed batting left fielder. And he slashes off strike 1. Wareham up 5-0. 3 runs coming in the second inning of play. Asuka an RBI hit. Ward an RBI fielder's choice, and Baker an RBI hit. Ward with a 2-run single back in the fourth to extend the Gatemen advantage. Beaver on first, Teeter on second. Holcomb out of the stretch. 0-1 curve on the inside corner. Called for a strike, 0-2. Antico has reached twice today. Once a hit batsman in the second. He came around to score, and then singled in the fourth. He also came around to score. Representing St. John's University here on the Cape. 386 hitter with the Red Storm. 6 homers and 29 driven in this past spring. 0-2. High fastball that's stabbed out of the air by Kessler. 1-2. Antico's St. John's teammate Gavin Hollowell played on the Cape last summer with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A pitcher selected in the 6th round of this past Major League draft. Colorado Rockies. Same team that Antico's current manager Jerry Weinstein is affiliated with. 1-2 curve. Roped into right field. That's through for a hit. Here comes Teeter. Shavers a throw. Not nearly in time, and Wareham's got another run. A 2-out RBI single by Mike Antico to make it 6-0 here in the top of the 5th.
And they've just been so consistent. We haven't seen them beat any outfielders over the head, just squaring up low line drives and hard hit ground balls in the hole. And that's been the story of the season for Wareham and how they've had so much success this year.
Antico keeps the train moving for Wareham. It's been all Gatemen, 6-0 here in the top of the 5th. Antico on first, Beaver on second, and the number 9 man at the plate, Tora Asuka. 1 for 1 with an RBI single and a sacrifice his last time up. He zips back a foul ball into the screen, 0-1. Antico produces Wareham's 9th hit of the contest already. Wareham has out-hit Cotuit 9-3 on the road. First and second with 2 outs. Holcomb ready at the belt again. Looks back to Beaver, now to the plate. Curveball knocked on a line, high and deep down the right field corner, but into the Wareham bullpen, foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
And that's the issue with the slow bending curveball, is if you leave it up, it can end up in the trees.
Asuka trying to keep the inning going and turn it over to the top of the Wareham lineup. His father, Akinori, a former Major League Baseball pitcher with the Padres and the Rangers back in the mid-2000s. 6-0 Wareham, top of the 5th. First and second with 2 away. Holcomb the 2-strike pitch. Fastball high and away, 1-2. Now Akinori Asuka is the coach of the Chunichi Dragons in the Japanese Professional League. His son Tora at the plate here, born in Japan, grew up in Rancho Bernardo, California. 1-2. High and in with a fastball. 2-2. Wareham's added another run here in the top of the 5th. Antico with an RBI base hit. Teeter came around to score, 6-0. Lowell Park turns quiet. Holcomb tries to get out of this inning. 2-2. Fastball bounced over the mound, taken by Oviedo, and he just shuffles to second for the force out to conclude the inning. But Wareham does more damage. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and a pair left on base, and we are on to the bottom of the 5th inning. Wareham 6 and Cotuit 0. Kettleers back at the plate when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. beautiful Lowell Park. 6-0 Wareham. And the Kettleers are back at the plate up against Brandon Fott, a right-hander from Bellarmine University in Louisville, Kentucky. Second inning of work after relieving Joe Barron, who worked 3 scoreless innings. Bottom of the Kettleer order, 8-9-1. Mason Dodd looks at ball 1 off the plate. Dodd 0 for 1. Flew out to right field back in the second inning. Trying to keep a 5-game on-base streak alive. 2 balls and no strikes to the Kettleer first baseman. Surprising addition to the Cotuit order out of Belmont Abbey, a D2 school. Fott misses out again. 3 balls and no strikes. Wareham sets the defense at normal depth. Ward plays a little shaded to the left center gap in center. Dodd takes a get-me-over strike, 3-1. Fott out of the windup, 3-1. Fastball hammered high in the air. Straightaway center. Ward's under it, and it arcs into his glove for out number 1.
2 balls that Dodd has just missed under. Lifted about 150 feet up in the air. And that's a sign of a guy who's locked in. He's just a little bit out front. Hopefully he can put it together for his third at-bat.
Colton Kessler digs in. Kettleers number 9 batter and the catcher. He's 0 for 1 with a fly ball to left field. Cotuit trails 6-0. Bottom of the 5th with 1 out and nobody aboard. Fott's first pitch, a fastball that tags the outside corner for strike 1. Wind up in the 0-1. Swing and a miss on another good fastball. This time it sank down at the knees. Kessler in an 0-2 hole. Cotuit's only put up 3 hits today, no runs. Real promise for the Kettleers in the bottom of the first inning. Cotuit had 2 on with nobody out for Arajanu. 0-2 to Kessler. Punched on the inside corner. Good fastball from Fott. Called strike 3. 3 pitches and a strikeout for the second out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cotuit had a chance to score to open up this game and take an early lead, but Darren Baker made an amazing play at second base to climb the ladder and rob Arajanu of a potential run-scoring base hit. And then Parker Chavers grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Nick Gonzalez takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Back to the top of the Cotuit order with 2 outs and nobody aboard. Wareham in the driver's seat up 6-0. 0-1. Curveball that sweeps down to the ankles, 1-1. Gonzalez 0 for 0, reaching twice today with a pair of walks. His 8th and 9th walks on the season, a Cape League best. 1-1 from Fott. Fastball hammered in the air, high into right field. Asuka charging in for it, but Baker calls him off and makes the catch about 20 feet into the grass for out number 3. Cotuit goes down in order. Another solid inning in relief for Brandon Fott in Wareham, and we have played 5. Wareham 6, Cotuit nothing. Aram Layton back in the play-by-play chair. When we come back, this is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
game. Joey Loperfido at first base. Mervis on the mound. Mervis, a two-way guy at Duke. Also a two-way guy in the Kettleers. We saw him at the plate in his debut on the Father's Day doubleheader. Now he's on the mound for his Kettleers debut from the rubber. This past spring, on the mound, limited action, just 8 1/3 innings, but a 2.16 ERA and 13 hits given up, struck out 8.
This is an interesting little dynamic here. We get to see Matt Mervis as a pitcher. Saw him a little bit on Father's Day at third base. What does he bring to the table? He didn't have a bad bat, so he can do a little bit of everything. Kind of your old school, little leaguer. You used to have so many power hitters that played third, but they could also pitch. So it's good to see him getting a little mix and match game here in summer ball. And this is a piece that Mike Roberts is going to have to figure out. Where does he fit into our club? And Mervis has an opportunity here. And then you've also got a defensive substitution at first base in Joey Loperfido.
Mervis, a guy 6'4". You talk about a big guy that plays at the corners, throws hard on the mound, low 90s. Loperfido, kind of a utility man at Duke. He played first base his freshman season, played outfield this past year, but has played a lot of second base as well.
Actually, Arm, it looks like they're going over some defensive changes. Home plate umpire Frank Auditor talking with our good friend Roy Reese, Kettleers public address announcer in the booth next to us. Matt Mervis is actually going to bat third in the lineup for Rajanu, it sounds like, and then Dante Williams is out in left field. He's entered the game.
First pitch is a bunt, popped up over to the third base dugout, strike one.
But going back to Loperfido, I love the versatility that this kid brings to the table. 6'4", he's got the look the part kind of look, and you mentioned it. He can play either side of the right side of the infield. He could play in the outfield. Cotuit could use him in a variety of ways.
Another ball fouled off. Mervis quickly ahead, 0-2. Dante Williams in at left. You hope Aubrey Major's feeling all right. Coach might just be precautionary with that move. Williams swung the bat well in the Father's Day doubleheader, had a home run, added a couple singles. So Ward behind 0-2. Looks at a fastball off the plate away, 1-2. Ward 1 for 3 on the day. Had a single in the fourth. Grounded out and had a fielder's choice. Mervis steals the 1-2. Spoiled away down the left field line. Seems like all of these Gatemen hitters are tough outs. Really good at spoiling pitches, tough to strike out, and all of them are left-handed, which is unbelievable. I've never seen a lineup top to bottom all lefties. The 1-2. Grounded up back at Mervis and up the middle. Oviedo fields it to his left, makes a quick throw on the run, but the first base umpire says he's safe.
Infield single, 10th hit of the day for Wareham. Great effort by Oviedo, ranging behind second to make that play on the run. The momentum of his body helped him towards first base on the throw, but not quite long enough of a stretch from Loperfido to get the runner in Ward at first. Bang, bang play.
So an infield hit for Braden Ward, and that brings up Darren Baker, who's already 3 for 3 on the day as Mervis picks off over to first to keep Ward close. Baker had a single in the first, a double in the second, and a bunt single in the fourth. He's made a few nifty plays at second base as well. A good all-around day for Darren Baker. Ward a big lead. He's on the move from first. A pitch out. Kessler throws over to second base, and the throw's in time as Oviedo tags him out. So well done all around by the Kettleers. They get the pitch out for Kessler. He throws a bullet right down to second base, and Oviedo tags him out. So Ward is erased, and now it's 1 away. The pitch out was obviously a called ball, so it's 1-0 to Darren Baker. Fastball gets the corner, 1-1.
Great call all around by everybody on Cotuit for the pitch out there. Kessler, the execution on the throw, put it in a perfect spot, right on the money for Oviedo to just move his glove an inch to make that tag.
A 1-1 fastball that fades away. Just misses the plate, 2-1. Mervis 94 on the gun there. Out of the windup, kicks and deals. Fastball just misses. Actually, delayed strike call there by the home plate umpire, Frank Auditori. Waited a full 2-second count there before he called it a strike. So 2-2 to Darren Baker. And he just tips the ball, a curveball on the outside corner that he just got enough of to pop it out of the glove of Kessler, and he stays alive. Mervis trying to set down Darren Baker for the first time in this ball game. Andrew Thomas waits on deck. Mervis from Potomac, Maryland, and Georgetown Prep High School. And he gets Baker for the first time, finally set down on a changeup. A good pitch from Matt Mervis. 2 away. And that brings up Andy Thomas, the designated hitter.
Wareham's top of the lineup has really killed Cotuit today. I'm talking about the first 2 hitters in Braden Ward and Darren Baker. Good for the Kettleers in this inning to at least get them out of the picture.
First pitch to Thomas. Curveball, strike 1. Splits the plate in half.
Ward with 2 ribbies, a 2-for-4 day, and Baker with 1 ribby, a 3-for-4 day in that number 2 spot.
Fastball at the shins misses. 1-1. Thomas, one of the few hitless Gatemen. 0 for 3 with a pair of groundouts and a fielder's choice. Another fastball misses down. 2-1. Thomas played a lot of first base for Baylor. He awaits the 2-1. Curveball misses up at the eyes. 3-1. This was a game started by Evan Justice, who struggled. In 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits. Holcomb came in relief, was a little bit better. Only surrendered the 1 run as Mervis walks Thomas. So Thomas is the runner at first. That'll bring up the catcher, Cameron Guangareno, as he takes his shin guards off from the on-deck circle, strides to the plate. Guangareno from Cal State Fullerton. You can tell by his bright orange bat. The fluorescent orange bat has an orange grip as well, and he has the white batting gloves with some orange accent. So he takes a first pitch fastball just low for ball 1. Will Perfido, the new first baseman, holds on Thomas. Dante Williams stands out there and left. Just 3 hits for the Kettleers today against the Gatemen 10. A line shot out to left field, fielded by Dante Williams, thrown into Oviedo. So back-to-back runners reach base with 2 away. And the 6'6" first baseman Jacob Teeter will stride to the plate.
Aram, this is classic Wareham. This is modern era Wareham Gatemen baseball right now. Look a lot like the team from last year that won the Cape League Championship. Maybe not quite as star-studded, but definitely the same kind of parts and principles. This is going to be a tough team to beat, and you can tell they might be the rival for Cotuit in the West once again.
First pitch fastball blocked by Kessler. He'll call for time and go talk to his pitcher Mervis. 11 hits on the ball game, 10 of them singles, just the 1 double off the bat of Darren Baker. And if there's one guy who can leave the yard on this Gateman team, it's Jacob Teeter, the 6'6" first baseman at the plate.
Yeah, and he's walked and scored a run today on an 0 for 2 performance. But everybody has brought a little something different to the table at the plate for Wareham this afternoon. Looking at the West Division standings, obviously these 2 clubs are tied, and the winner gets first place. Falmouth not far behind with a 3-3-1 record. Bourne a 3-4 record, and Hyannis way in the cellar already, winless at 0-6-1. It looks like the 3 teams at the top right now might be the most well-rounded at the outset.
Mervis comes set, the 1-0 to Teeter. Fastball that just misses low, 2-0.
And you're looking at the East. Brewster, since we last saw him on Friday at Stony Brook, they've won 5 in a row. They're 5-3 atop the Eastern Division. Whitey 3-2-1, Chatham 4-3. Orleans 3-3-1, and Harwich 3-4.
The 2-0 to Teeter. Fastball, this one is finally a strike, so it's 2-1. Mervis sitting 94. Teeter 12 home runs this past spring at Florida Southern College, a Division II powerhouse. 9 national championships Florida Southern has. We're starting to get to the point where we can see what these teams are made of a little bit. As Mervis gets the corner again, 2-2. Obviously it's early, teams still have players coming. But as you get to that 12, 13, 14 games in, as we'll get to quickly in this next week, start to see what this Kettleers team's made of and how the divisions will start shaking up. So 2-2, 2 men on. Runner on second is Andy Thomas. He short hops his catcher Kessler, does Mervis. The runners will advance. Ball that bounced about 4 feet in front of home plate and caught Kessler on the inner thigh. And he'll take a second here, try and catch his breath. And the home plate umpire will go talk to Matt Mervis and give Colton Kessler a second here.
Yeah, Craig Moody, Cotuit's athletic trainer, checking on Kessler behind home plate. Hopefully he's okay. That pitch spiked up and got him on the inner leg, like you said, arm. And unfortunately, Kess wasn't able to find it on the ricochet. He thought it was behind him. It was in front of him. Wareham with an opportunity now with 3-2, 2 outs, and now both runners in scoring position to bust this thing wide open.
So Craig Moody works on Colton Kessler, talks to him for a little bit. Mervis takes a stroll around the mound, grabs a rosin bag. And Kessler looks like he's going to hang out and stay in this ball game. Cody Pasek would be the replacement. He's the backup catcher. So Frank Auditorio will share a couple words with Colton Kessler, probably give him a few warm-up pitches. Or not. He's just going to go straight into it. So no warm-up pitches for Colton Kessler to settle in. Runners on second and third. Full count here. And the payoff pitch is laced out into right field. Back is Parker Shavers, who makes the grab. A line shot right at him. Had to retreat about 5 steps and made the grab. So Matt Mervis escapes the top of the 6th inning. Will go into the bottom of the 6th as Cotuit tries to get on the scoreboard. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Scoreboard, bottom of the 3rd at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Orleans with a 1-0 road lead over Hyannis. Brewster up 1-0 on the road at Harwich. YD set to take on Chatham at Veterans Field. That one about to get started in 5 minutes, a 7 p.m. first pitch. And Falmouth was scheduled to play Bourne at Doran Park, but currently no word on that game, no score to report. Hopefully it did not get rained out. Remember, Bourne had a game that got rained out because it rained one day, but then on the following day was not even able to play on a sunny day because their park didn't drain well. So hopefully we can report something later. Bottom of the 6th here at Lowell Park. Kettleers down 6-0 against Wareham. Let's go back to Arm with the play-by-play.
Thank you for that, Sam. Dante Williams will get his first step out of the ball game, as it'll be the 3rd inning of work, and he lifts one out to right field. Second baseman Baker calls everyone off and makes the grab. We'll actually have a defensive replacement for Darren Baker at second base. And Matt Mervis will get his first at-bat of the ball game.
Chad Stevens is the new second baseman for Wareham. One of their better batters, actually, who got the day off for a start from Portland.
The 0-1 to Mervis. Curveball towards the back leg. Ball 1. The 1-1 to Mervis. Fouled over the third base dugout. 1-2. Talked about what Mervis did on the mound already. Had a lot more experience this past spring at the plate. Hit .275. 6 home runs, 31 runs driven in as he grounds one to the first baseman, Teeter, who takes it himself. That's 3 unassisted, so 2 away. Bottom of the 6th here, and Parker Shavers will try and extend the inning.
Just got word, actually, Arm, that tonight's game between Falmouth and Bourne was indeed canceled due to poor field conditions. Tough to see.
The first pitch to Parker Shavers. Lined out to center field. Ward ranges over to his left and makes the grab. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Kettleers here in the bottom of the 6th. And we'll go into the top of the 7th. The score remains 6-0 in favor of Wareham. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Only able to scratch for 3 hits so far in this ball game. So Duke Ellis will come into left field. Dante Williams will shift over to center. Ellis will hit for Cam Hill. So Mervis will get Benjamin Sems, the shortstop, then Dallas Beaver and Mike Antico. Mervis out of the windup, kicks and deals. First pitch fastball misses off the plate away, ball 1. So Mervis, who's hitting for Arajanu and now on the mound, gets the outside corner, 1-1. It's a little bit of an advantage when you have that DH spot with a two-way player. You're able to get him in the lineup and on the mound. You don't burn a substitution out of the field. 1-1's fouled away, 1-2. Sems will be a senior this spring at Kansas. In his junior year, hit .305, 12 doubles, 4 home runs, drove in 39. He's behind 1-2 to Mervis. 1-2 changeup. He lays off it. 2-2. Sems 0 for 2 today with a walk. He scored in the second inning on a base hit off the bat of Tora Otsuka. And he lines one out into right field. Shavers ranges over and makes the grab. So Mervis gets the first out of the inning. And Dallas Beaver, the third baseman, will come up with one away.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu. That's curry.edu, Curry College.
Dallas Beaver ahead 1-0. Mervis just crowds the inner half with a fastball, misses inside, 2-0. Beaver 2 for 3 on the day, reached on an error, pair of singles. 2-0, fouled straight back, 2-1.
Oh, heads up. There's a couple walking out in the parking lot, and they were just trying to get home. The next thing you know, they got a ball screaming in at them.
The parking lot is a little bit of a danger zone with balls raining in from all over. You got to keep your head on a swivel. The 2-1. Blooped over the first baseman, Will Perfido's head, and it's a fair ball. Beaver will round first and retreat back after a big turn. So he gets jammed on the fist, is able to just fight it over the first baseman, Will Perfido's head, and dump it into right field. So another base hit is third of the ball game for Dallas Beaver. And Mike Antico will come up looking to get his third hit of the ball game.
This little bottom of the order combo, 7, 8, and 9, has done so much damage for Wareham today.
7, 8, 9 is combined for 6 hits. 6 of their 12 hits, half of them today. First pitch fastball misses down, 1-0.
4 of the 6 runs scored. Antico reaching all 3 times, 2 for 2 with an RBI single. And Asuka, who's due up on deck, also with an RBI single.
Third baseman Casey Schmidt plays with his feet on the grass. Everyone else playing straight away. Foul ball pulled down the line, foul. Middle of the infield playing double play depth. Gonzalez shading over to his right a little bit. Oviedo to his left. Will Perfido holding the runner. Beaver on first base. The 1-1 to Antico. Popped up in the infield. We'll see if Kessler has a play on it. He will not. It'll get out behind the backstop and out of play. But Mervis is ahead 1-2. 1 out, and Casey Schmidt shifts over on third base towards the shortstop area. About 5 paces over from what is normally third base. Oviedo will shade towards the middle more for the left-handed hitting Mike Antico. The 1-2 from Mervis. Swing and a miss on a good changeup. Strike 3. Mervis is able to get Mike Antico. So 2 outs in the top of the 7th, and that'll bring up Tora Otsuka. Otsuka 1 for 2 on the day. Single and a sac bunt. First pitch to Otsuka. Bounces in front of the plate. Good stop by Kessler. Looks over to first base. Beaver was not on the move. Otsuka, the 9-hitter. Then Braden Ward on deck should he be able to reach base. Otsuka with the bat straight up, almost like a lightning rod in front of his left shoulder. He grounds one out to Nick Gonzalez, will go to first base easily and get the third out of the inning. So just a single off of Mervis in this inning, but he's able to pitch his second scoreless. We'll go into the bottom of the seventh, and the Kettleers try to chase 6. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Work for Fott, Holgett, Casey Schmidt, the pinch hitter Duke Ellis, then Adam Oviedo. It's been 3 innings, a 1-hit ball for the pitcher Fott. He dots a strike on the inner half, 0-1. Schmidt, one of the 3 hits today for the Kettleers, and a single into left field back in the 4th inning. 0-1 is lined out into right. Osuka has a beat on it, makes the grab easily. And a quick out here for Fott in the top of the bottom of the 7th, rather.
Fott's been impressive, man. He's looked good. 3 1/3. He's only faced 1 over the minimum, allowing the 1 hit. Kettleers haven't had a hit since the 4th inning. Just a quiet day offensively for Cotuit at the plate. We'll see if Joe Casey at the plate can change that.
So Joe Casey will pinch hit. He fouls one straight back. Joe Casey hitting for Cam Hill. Casey out of Oregon State University. Hit .260 this past season.
Son of the legendary Pat Casey, longtime Oregon State baseball head coach, 3-time national champion.
Casey from the left side of the plate awaits the 0-1. Fouls one straight back, 0-2. Oviedo waits on deck. Will Perfido in the hole. Should one of them be able to reach base. 0-2, 1 away. And Casey lines one. That's just foul on the first base side, and he might need a new piece of lumber. Fastball that got in on the hands. Cracked his Louisville slugger. He'll get a new one. Oviedo hands it over to him, and he'll do 0-2 with a new bat. So Joe Casey tries to stay alive here and fought out of the windup, kicks and deals. Fastball gets the outside corner, strike 3 looking. So 2 quick outs, and Adam Oviedo will stride to the plate.
Wareham has just dominated on the mound. One little shaky inning in the first, but nothing much for Cotuit at the plate today. Gatemen pitching has been really, really strong. Joe Barron and now Brandon Fott.
First pitch to shortstop Adam Oviedo. Curveball he spins out of the way of. 1-0. Oviedo has the second hit of this ball game. He had a single into left field that squeaked between the third baseman and shortstop. The 1-0. Fouls it straight back, 1-1. Joey Loperfido would make his Kettleers debut at the plate. If Oviedo can get to first base here. The 1-1 to Ovi. Fastball at the eyes, 2-1. Oviedo had the 2 home runs on the Father's Day, second game of the Father's Day doubleheader at YD. Added a single today. He's looked really good defensively at shortstop. Swings through a fastball at the letters, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Fott still has only given up 1 hit in his 3 2/3 innings of work. Out of the windup, the 2-2. Popped up into shallow right field. Coming in is Asuka, who makes the grab. So another 1-2-3 inning for the Kettleers. Just 3 hits on the ball game. They trail 6-0. My partner Sam Niederman will take you home here. We go into the 8th. Kettleers trail 6-0.
Kettleers down 6-0 against the Wareham Gatemen. Sam Niederman alongside Arm Layton, our entire Cotuit media crew here with us in the booth. Tough day for Cotuit. 4th pitcher onto the hill for this inning. Richard Brereton comes in out of the bullpen, 6 foot, 205 pounds, a senior from Darien, Connecticut. He's making his 3rd appearance on the season representing Emory University. and he's up against the top of the Wareham lineup, 1, 2, and 3, beginning with Braden Ward, the leadoff man. Brereton, a right-hander who has shown some promise, pitched in a really gutsy outing on Sunday against YD in the tie, second game of the doubleheader, and you really liked what he brought to the table.
Absolutely. He really got the third out of the ball game. The Kettleers should have won. Unfortunately, Nick Gonzalez bobbled that ball, and they tied it up. And Brereton could have easily folded there, showed his tenacity, and was able to get the last out and at least pull off the tie.
Wareham 6-0, top of the 8th. Brereton out of the windup. First pitch fastball runs at the shoulders for ball 1. Ward, the center fielder out of Washington, a productive day in the leadoff spot. 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. Came on a base hit back in the 4th inning. Schmidt plays in by a step at third. 1-0 from Brereton. Fastball called for a strike at the knees, 1-1. Wareham put up a 3 spot in the 2nd inning. 2 more came home in the 4th. And then the RBI single by Antico in the 5th, the latest damage done on the scoreboard for the Gatemen on the road. 1-1 on the way. Ground ball cued foul past third base. 1-2 to Ward. Ward, a 2-year starter with the Huskies at Washington University. Hit .321 this spring, a home run and 26 driven in. Not the biggest cat in the world, but he's done his job today. 5'10", 145 pounds from the left side. 1-2. Breaking pitch, poke to short. Oviedo picks on one hop, guns to first. Good scoop by Loperfido for out number 1.
Brereton took a stab at that himself, actually lost his footing and fell on his backside. Fortunately, he's okay. Usually you tell the pitcher, just let the middle infielders do the job, but you'll always see pitchers almost stick out their throwing hand sometimes, and I guess it's instinct, but
that's a no-no. You do that, you could be looking at a terrible injury. I remember I always did that, though, when I pitched. It is instinct. Chad Stevens now, second baseman who replaced Darren Baker back in the 6th. He bats from the right side with 1 out and nobody aboard. First at-bat for Stevens. And he swings at the first pitch for strike 1, foul back. Stevens has actually surprised for Wareham. He is the leader in batting average, technically, to begin the season across the entire Cape League with a .400 clip. He's 6 for his first 15 with a couple of doubles and 6 driven in. Product of Portland University, the Pilots, another Pacific Northwest kid on Wareham. Brereton's 0-1. Looping breaking ball in at the hands. 1 ball and 1 strike. Stevens, a former 40th round selection out of high school by the San Diego Padres. Hit .288 this spring, 5 homers, 27 RBI. Brereton loops in another breaking ball. This time it hits the inside corner for a strike, 1-2. Jerry Weinstein, Wareham's new manager in his first season, second stint, with plenty of ties to the West Coast. 1-2 fastball on the outside corner, called for strike 3, and Richard Brereton gets a strikeout for out number 2 here in the 8th.
Looking sharp again is Brereton. He's looked good in all 3 outings so far this season. And we talk about the small school guys. It's been the story so far. The 2 Division II guys for Wareham absolutely shutting down the Kettleers. And now the Division III guy, Brereton, looking sharp in his first inning of work.
2 up and 2 down here in the visiting half of the 8th. Wareham up 6-0 on Cotuit. Andrew Thomas, the DH, climbs back in and takes a changeup in the dirt for ball 1. Thomas 0 for 3 with a walk. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, bounced out to second in the second, grounded into a double play in the 4th. Walked back in the 6th inning and was stranded at third base. Cody Pasek, the catcher for Cotuit. Colton Kessler's day is done. Remember, Joe Casey plays in left, Dante Williams in center field. Been all Wareham all afternoon. Gatemen 6, Kettleers nothing. 2 down, nobody on. 1-1. Off-speed pitch, turned away foul on the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Talking about Jerry Weinstein, he's got all kinds of baseball experience. His coaching career began in 1966 on the UCLA Bruins staff. He's been everywhere in minor league baseball with the Colorado Rockies as a coach, Israel's World Baseball Classic coach in 2017. Fly ball down the line and left. That gets down fair. Could be extra bases for Thomas. Casey in the corner finally cuts it into third. And Wareham keeps things going here in the top of the 8th inning. A 2-out double by Andrew Thomas.
Looked like a safety swing from Thomas there on a pitch. Maybe a ball outside, but he was able to just stick the bat out with a little excuse me swing, get the fat part on it, and drive it into left field for a double. It's a good piece of hitting.
13th hit of the game for Wareham. The Gatemen offense continues to push deeper into this ball game. Weinstein, a former California JUCO coach with Sacramento City College, coached there for 20-plus seasons. He's been on Cape Cod once before, was the Gatemen manager in 2016, then gave way for Don Sneddon, who passed the torch back to Weinstein after 2 seasons and a 2018 Cape League title. Cameron Guangareno back at the plate. Left-handed batting catcher, 1 for 4 with a single his last time up. No balls and 1 strike with a runner on second base and Thomas. 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Wareham up 6-0. 1 breaking pitch. That's in there for a strike. 0-2. Kettleers in their home white pinstripes, trimmed in maroon. Wareham in the blue tops, trimmed in red with the gray pants. Some of the crowd has filed out here at Lowell Park. Overcast skies overhead. 0-2, bouncing ball right in front of the mound. Jumping stab by Brereton, who fires onto Loperfido at first. And that takes care of the side here in the top of the 8th. No runs on 1 double, no errors, and 1 man left in scoring position for Wareham. And it's still 6-0. We venture on to the bottom of the 8th. Cotuit back at the plate when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. And a new member of the Cotuit Pinstripes at the plate to start things out here in this inning. Joey Loperfido of Duke University bats in the 8th spot for Mason Dodd. Then Colton Kessler in the 9th spot back to the top of the order. Brandon Fott still on the mound, the right-hander out of Bellarmine, working into his 5th inning. And he starts Loperfido out with a strike, a fastball on the inside corner. Fott has pitched 4 scoreless, has struck out 4, and has only faced 13 batters. 0-1, hard fastball down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike on Loperfido. Native of Haddonfield, New Jersey, 6'4", 195 pounds. Tall, slender frame, a junior. He bats from the left side. 1-1 from Fott. Tipped away foul, and it just got the catcher in Guangareno right behind home plate. Hopefully he's okay. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jerry Weinstein, who knows a thing or two about catching, that's his area of expertise. He comes out of the first base dugout. Hands on his hips, off blue hoodie, his signature black-rimmed glasses, and he's there to make sure that his backstop in Juan Guareno's okay after taking that deflection off a foul ball. Just a quick visit, he's all good. Home plate umpire Frank Auditor goes out as a courtesy to talk with the pitcher and Fott and give Juan Guareno his time to rest. Now they share a word together behind home plate. Auditor is like, hey man, it can't be good, but you'll be all right. They share a laugh and we keep going. Bottom of the 8th, nobody on, nobody out. 1-2 on Loper Fido. Swing and a foul tip into Juan Guareno's glove. He hangs on to it, and Loper Fido's down on strikes to begin the 8th. 5th strikeout of the contest for Fott out of the bullpen. The D2 righty out of Bellarmine has been very impressive. And he's got Wareham 5 outs away from producing a shutout of Cotuit. Here's Cody Pasek batting for Colton Kessler in the 9th spot. He slashes one into the gap left center field. That's down, cut off by Antico, just a base hit. 4th one of the contest for the Kettleers, and it gives Cotuit a little bit of life. A 1-out base runner here in the bottom of the 8th. Pasek a single. He flips it over to the top of the lineup. Nick Gonzalez back at the plate. Cotuit's leadoff man, 0 for 1 with a flyout back in the 5th. Walked his first 2 times up in the 1st and 3rd. Double play depth for the Wareham defense up the middle. Fought out of the stretch, has not had to do this more than once today, and he gets a breaking ball over for a strike on Gonzalez, 0-1.
Pasek, another guy that tops the list of pleasant surprises for this Kettleer team. With the starting catcher Colton Kessler struggling a little bit, the production from Pasek has been really helpful to the Kettleers.
1 ball and 1 strike. Pasek, the native of Cotuit, fulfilling a childhood dream. Former bullpen catcher for the Kettleers, now the actual catcher on the roster. 1-1 to Gonzalez, fastball, that's down the middle, strike 2. 1-2 to the second baseman out of New Mexico State. Wareham taking care of Cotuit right now, bottom of the 8th, 1 on and 1 out, 6-0 ball game. Cotuit on the short end of it. Wareham positioning themselves to take sole possession of first place in the Western Division. Ward plays a little bit into the right center gap in center field. Infielder's still ready for a ground ball up the middle, and before a 1-2 time call at home plate. Next up for the Kettleers, a road trip to Doran Park to take on the Bourne Braves tomorrow. First pitch at 6 p.m. 1-2. Breaking pitch, tailed in the air, deep to right field. Atsuka's got it. They're about 15 feet before the fence for out number 2. Good contact again from Gonzalez. He's shown that opposite field power, but it stays in the yard. 2 down and a man on first still in Pasek. Here comes Dante Williams.
The ball hasn't been carrying here at Lowell Park as well as it has in the past. We've seen some really windy days. The trees have been pretty stationary, and a lot of fly balls from the Kettleers and not much to show for it.
Dante Williams batting at the 2 spot for Aubrey Major, who he relieved in the 6th inning. Dante 0 for 1 with a pop out to second today. Fott misses away with a fastball, 1-0. Wareham in total control, leading Cotuit 6-0 in the home half of the 8th. 2 outs and a runner aboard in Pasek. Williams, a left-handed bat, outfielder out of Arizona. And he punches one away foul, just on top of the Kettleer kitchen. 1-1. Pregame for tomorrow's contest at Bourne starts at 5:50 p.m. Be sure to tune in, hear from Coach Mike Roberts, get a full report and analysis on your Kettleers. First pitch against Bourne at 6 p.m. live right here on Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting. 1-1. Changeup in there, called for a strike, 1-2 on Williams. Richard Brereton is the man in the on-deck circle taking his practice swings. He'd be batting in the 3 spot for Matt Mervis, who relieved Araj Anu when he came on to pitch in the 6th inning. 1-2. Hard fastball way outside, 2-2. So we get our first look at Brereton as a hitter. We know his prowess as a pitcher, a two-way guy out of Emory who has some really good numbers at the plate too. If Williams can extend the inning, we'd get to see him in action.
Hit well over 300 this past year at Emory. Had an ERA in the threes on the mound. Just your prototypical two-way stud.
Hit .392 to be exact with a home run and 30 driven in. 2-2. Fastball low and in at the ankles, called for strike three, and that concludes the 8th inning of play. Williams goes down looking. Kettleers come up scoreless once again. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base in Pasek, and we are on to the 9th. Wareham leads 6-0 over Cotuit. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball. On Cotuit. Middle of the order due up for the Gatemen. Richard Brereton still on the hill for Cotuit, his 2nd inning of work. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Wareham, beginning with Jacob Teeter, the first baseman. 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Brereton on the mound, holds the black mitt at the belt, winds up, and gets a swing and a miss on a fastball for strike 1. 6 runs on 13 hits, 1 error for Wareham on the road. Cotuit with no runs on 4 hits and 1 error at home. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton. Glad that you joined us here on this Wednesday evening. Hope you've had a good week so far. They start to go by fast in the summer. 0-1. Knocked away foul by Teeter. 0-2. Doing all right, my friend?
Yes, sir. We talk about how hard it is sometimes to keep up with the schedule. The days of the week almost blend together.
I can't believe it's Wednesday already. We're going to wake up tomorrow and it'll be Thursday. Road trip to Bourne for Cotuit. And back home on Friday against Hyannis. 1-2 to Teeter. Patriot Cup matchup number 2. That's at 5 p.m. And then a Saturday road trip to White House Field to take on the Harwich Mariners. Back home on Sunday for a doubleheader against the Brewster Whitecaps. 1-2 breaking ball framed by Pasek, but it does not get the top right corner of the zone. 2-2 now on Teeter. Casey still in left field. Dante Williams still in center field. Joey Loperfido at first base and Cody Pasek behind the plate. Those are your defensive substitutions late in this one. 3-2 now on Teeter. Big guy at 6'5" at the plate. Aram told you how he did in JUCO this past year with Florida Southern. He takes a 3-2 for a ride deep to left. Taken by Casey in his glove, round number 1. Teeter actually played volleyball and baseball in high school. Not a surprise when you're 6'5". I'd play volleyball too. That'd be really fun.
I always wanted to play volleyball, but in South Florida, the seasons ran over each other. So it was baseball or volleyball, and of course I'm going to pick baseball. But yeah, 6'6", 6'5". He's got to have a nice spike.
Yeah, they do men's volleyball in the spring, but women's is a fall sport. That's how it works. Here's Benjamin Sems, the shortstop, who was 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored himself. 1 out, nobody on. 6-0 Wareham in the top of the 9th. Brereton's 0-1 pitch. Grounded on the right side. Loper Fido shuffles right, tosses back to Brereton, who covers at first for out number 2.
Brereton's broken a few bats in his 2 innings of work. Running the fastball in really effectively. He's not a guy that's going to run it up to the mid-90s and blow it by you, but he can sit high 80s, low 90s, and he locates it really well, and I think that's why he's had so much success. He sets up the curveball really well and sets up all his pitches in his arsenal, and he just continues to mow hitters down.
He's looked sharp, came in the 8th, and only gave up a double in that inning. He has retired 5 of the 6 he's faced. Here's number 7, Dallas Beaver. No balls and 1 strike to the third baseman for Wareham, who's 3 for 4, 3 base hits and 2 runs scored. Foul ball right back into the fence behind home plate, 0-2. Beaver has reached all 4 times today, reached on an error at third base back in the 5th. Wareham's lineup has pounded out 13 hits to take a 6-0 shutout lead over Cotuit here in the top of the 9th. 0-2. Breaking ball. Hit off the end of the bat and into the parking lot, foul. Looked like that one might have ate up a car in the first row, splash zone.
Pinballed out off of a couple cars over there.
Oh, man.
That's a tough thing. It's a catch-22. You want the good parking. You want to be close, but you also are a lot closer to getting hit by a ball. And like you said, it's a splash zone right there.
See if Beaver can stay alive with 2 strikes or can Brereton finish him. 0-2. Breaking ball, spoiled away foul into the netting up the third baseline. Beaver, a native of Kissimmee, Florida, hit .316 with 12 bombs and 56 RBI this past season with the UCF Golden Knights.
Team that just got snubbed out of their bid for the NCAA postseason. I know they weren't happy about it.
0-2 from Brereton. Swing and a miss on a fastball in the dirt. Dug out by Pasek, and he throws down to first to complete the drop third strike. Richard Brereton solid again out of the bullpen. 2 scoreless innings of work, and he finishes it up with 2 strikeouts. He gets the batter there in Beaver to conclude the top of the 9th inning, and we are on to the bottom of the 9th. 6-0 Wareham. Cotuit with a lot of work left to do at the plate. I'll be right back with that after this. At the plate, bottom of the ninth inning, 6-0 in favor of Wareham. And here comes Cotuit. It's Richard Brereton, then Parker Chavers, and Casey Schmidt. 3, 4, and 5 to face a new pitcher for Wareham. Third one of the day. That's it for Brandon Fott. He goes 5 really strong innings, striking out a handful. He only gave up 1 hit, did not allow a run, did not walk a batter, faced 1 over the minimum, and he gives way to a right-hander from Oklahoma State. Ben Leeper, 6 foot, 195, a senior from Southlake, Texas. We're watching him warm up right now, Aram, and he's pumping some gas.
Yeah, he can run it up to the mid-90s, strikes out batters at a pretty impressive rate, 43 in just 31 innings. He's a guy that's tough to catch up to, but for him it's whether the off-speed's working, and it looks like he went to mostly the fastball warming up. And with a 6-0 lead, I'm sure he'll just be pounding the zone.
The righty from OK State is responsible for the heart of the Cotuit order here in the bottom of the ninth. Wareham has led this thing wire to wire, up 6-0. See if Cotuit's got anything left in the tank to try and put up a fight. Brereton, Chavers, and then Schmidt, 3, 4, and 5. No doubles D for Wareham on the infield down the lines. First pitch from Leeper. Hard fastball upstairs at 93 miles an hour, ball 1. Leeper plays for Josh Holliday at Oklahoma State, the son of Tom Holliday, Chatham's manager. 1-0 fastball up and in at the hands, 2-0. The Holliday family, of course. Matt Holliday, a World Series champion with the St. Louis Cardinals. The brother of Josh Holliday. Tom actually coached at Oklahoma State before giving way to his son and Josh. Interesting that Leeper goes to Wareham instead of to Chatham, but, you know, you can figure that thing out one way or another. Jerry Weinstein has attracted a lot of good prospects across the canal for the Gatemen this summer. 2-1 pitch to Brereton. Fastball on the inside corner. Level it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about it in the last half inning. Brereton raked at .392 this past spring with Emory University, a D3 school. 2-2. Hard breaking ball that runs up and in at the shoulder of Brereton. He's hit with a slider, and he's aboard to start the bottom of the ninth as a hit batsman. So we don't get to see him swing the bat, but he at least does his job and gets on to start things off here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Kettleers trailing 6-0 in the bottom of the ninth. Brereton on first base, nobody holding him on. Parker Chavers digs back in, 0 for 3. Leeper's first pitch, fastball framed onto the outside corner for strike 1. Chavers grounded into a double play with runners on the corners in the first inning. Struck out looking in the 4th and popped up to center in the 6th. Leg lift in the 0-1. High and away, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, 1-1. Cloudy night here in Cotuit. First of 9 consecutive ball games without an off day for the Kettleers, if the schedule holds. Leeper out of the stretch, 1-1. Fastball misses, high and outside again. 2 balls and a strike to Chavers. Brereton, the runner at first after getting hit by a slider. Wareham shades the middle of the infield towards second for a double play ball. Leeper with a big red beard and red locks flowing out of his blue cap comes set on the mound. 2-1. Spoiled away foul behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Leeper onto the rubber, looking back in to Juan Guareno for his sign. Nobody holding on Brereton at first. 2-2 lifted, left field, and Tico in the corner, and he reaches up to make the play for out number 1. Chavers retired. He finished up the day 0 for 4. And here comes Casey Schmidt, the number 5 man in Cotuit's order. Schmidt with a couple of practice swings. Working on a 1 for 3 performance. Reached on an error in the second. Singled in the 4th. and flew out to right field in the 7th. Schmidt collecting one of the 4 Cotuit hits today. First pitch from Leeper, launched into center field. It stays in the yard, though. Braden Ward into the right center gap to make it. And that's the second out of the inning.
Story of the ball game for the Kettleers, 12 flyouts today. Ball hasn't really been carrying, and they haven't really tested this Wareham defense at all. A lot of routine pop-ups, and it's hard to win a ball game when you fly out 12 times. It's hard to string together more than 4 hits.
It just hasn't been the day for Cotuit at the plate. Schmidt wraps things up. 1 for 4. Here comes Joe Casey, who pops one up on the infield. This should be the ball game. Short left center field. Sems makes the grab, and that's it from Lowell Park. Wareham shuts out Cotuit by a final score of 6-0. Not a great performance at the plate for the Kettleers. Cotuit unable to get anything on the board. No runs on no hits, no errors, and another man left here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Wareham celebrates in the handshake line beyond the mound. Jerry Weinstein set to shake hands behind home plate with Mike Roberts, and that's a wrap for this one. We'll come back and break it all down with the postgame show after this. Wareham wins 6-0. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Result for the Cotuit Kettleers today at home against the Wareham Gatemen. Wareham takes this one in shutout fashion, winning 6-0 in a final 9 innings. Sam Niederman alongside Arm Layton. Glad that you could join us here in our broadcast booth. This is your post-game wrap. Our entire Cotuit media crew standing by for post-game media availability with Coach Mike Roberts and players. You can catch that on our Twitter page at Cotuit Kettleers. Live stream Periscope action for you there if you want to check out some of the post-game interviews. Aram, not the best day for the Kettleers at the plate. First time that Cotuit's been shut out today. Wareham really established their dominance early. It was Joe Barron and Brandon Fott who tossed a combined 8 scoreless innings, and then it was Bren Leeper who came in to get the final 3 outs on the save. Just not a tough day for the Kettleers at the plate.
And Barron and Fott were great on the mound. Of course, nothing to take away from them, but only 4 hits for the Kettleers, but they didn't even give themselves a chance. 20 of those outs in the air, 2 double plays. You only get 27 outs in a ball game. That means they had 1 regular ground out. So you really put no pressure on Wareham at all to have to make any plays. And we saw the one time they did, Darren Baker did boot it. They only had one regular defensive play on the ground, and with the 2 double plays that got them out of innings in the first and the third, it's hard to win a ball game like that when you're giving away outs on the air.
It was a tough start for the Kettleers, but they might have had actually a chance early on. Bottom of the first inning, first and third, Arajanu lines out to Darren Baker at second base for the first out, and then Parker Chavers bounces into a 4-6-3 double play to end the thread. Wareham took full advantage coming back in the top of the second inning. 1 out, a walk to Benjamin Sems, and then a single by Dallas Beaver made it first and second. Mike Antico was hit by a pitch to load up the bases, and that's when the Gatemen broke through. Tora Atsuka with an RBI single, Braden Ward an RBI fielder's choice, and then Darren Baker an RBI double to cap it off. 3 runs scoring in the top of that second inning. Evan Justice started the ball game for the Kettleers. He only went 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, walked 1, and struck out 1. How can he improve moving forward?
It was a big problem was location, right? He got a full lineup of left-handed hitters, and he's a southpaw. He should have the advantage, but he just could not locate the off-speed. I think a big turning point in that game was when he hit Antico with that breaking ball, ended up putting him on with 2 strikes, and then the floodgates opened for Wareham, and they were able to pile together a couple hits and pile on some runs. I think he really needs to focus on locating those off-speed pitches, and he looked really good in his first outing, so it's something to go back to. Think about that last outing before this one, and it's there. He pitched well in the past, and he's just got to keep building on that. And Coach Roberts said he's still learning about his pitcher, Evan Justice, and it's something that he's going to continue to work with him, and I'm sure he'll bounce back from this start.
Justice on the hook for the loss. Wareham pounded out 3 more runs in the middle innings, 2 coming home on a Braden Ward base hit in the 4th, and then another run added on in the 5th, Mike Antico with an RBI single. But the middle of the Kettleer bullpen was actually pretty solid today, Arm. If there's something to take away positively from this game on the mound, it would be that Chris Holcomb went an inning and 2/3, allowed 1 unearned run on 2 hits. And then we had Matt Mervis come in and make his pitching debut. He pitched 2 scoreless innings, allowing 3 hits, walking 1 and striking out 2. And then your personal favorite, one of the guys that has really stepped up and shined over the last couple of games, Richard Brereton in the back out in this game. 8th and 9th innings, scoreless. He pitched 2, didn't allow a run, 1 hit, no walks, and he struck out 2.
Well, that's a big thing, no walks, right? We've seen walks come back to kill this Kettleer team. Leadoff walks score almost 60% of the time. And he's just all over the zone. He makes these guys hit the ball, and he locates really well. And he's not a guy that's going to run it by you at 95, 96 like some other guys on this Kettleer team, but he's all over the strike zone. And with these wood bats, he makes them hit the ball, and he's had success with it. So Brereton's a guy that I think Coach Roberts will continue to go to more and more as long as he continues to show the success in the back end of the bullpen.
Cotuit only compiled 4 hits in total on this ball game. The Kettleers did not have a hit since the 4th inning going into the 8th, and that was when Cody Pasek got a pinch hit base hit with 1 out in the 8th inning of play. Kettleers went to the plate in the bottom of the 9th, got the leadoff man aboard in Richard Brereton, who was a hit batsman, but then was stranded there. The next 3 batters went down on 3 consecutive pop-outs, which you mentioned earlier, the 20 of them overall in the ball game. Kettleers go down to 4-3-1 on the season. Wareham picks up the win and first place in the Western Division. The Gatemen now 5-2-1 and a game up on Cotuit in the Western Division standings. 6 runs on 13 hits and 1 error for Wareham on the road. No runs on 4 hits and 1 error for Cotuit. Notable performers in the Kettleer lineup. 1 hit came today from Casey Schmidt. He finished up 1 for 4, and Adam Oviedo went 1 for 3. Time of the ball game, it took 2 hours and 44 minutes. It was cloudy, 70 degrees, very pleasant. Good crowd on hand. We'll get you an attendance number later, but probably in the upper hundreds or so, maybe closing in on 1,000. Again, another great turnout by the fans here in the village of Cotuit. Next up for the Kettleers, a road trip in the Western Division, going down 28 to take on the Bourne Braves. That's tomorrow. First pitch scheduled for 6 p.m. Pregame begins live right here on Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting at 5:50 p.m. Make sure you tune in to hear from Coach Roberts in our pregame chat. We'll go over all things Kettleers, break down the matchup, and get you set for what should be a fun one. Bourne had their game canceled tonight against Falmouth. And remember, it did not rain today on Cape Cod. It rained yesterday, and every game except for the Brewster game against Bourne, which was at Brewster, actually took place. The other 4 games were rained out, and they'll be made up at a later date, including Cotuit's at Chatham. But Bourne's field could not sustain the damage taken by the rain from yesterday, and their game today against Falmouth has been axed as a result of it. So hopefully we are able to play tomorrow at Doran Park. There is some rain in the forecast that's going to come in later tonight and rain throughout the morning. That field at Bourne has not been able to hold water well this season. That's the second time that a game has been rained out a day after the rain when there hasn't been any rain on that day, if that makes sense. So hopefully we talk to you on the air tomorrow. Pregame at 5:50, first pitch at 6 p.m. Aram, final thoughts before we sign off.
Hopefully Bourne's field holds up. I'd love to get after it tomorrow. I think we need to flip the calendar really quickly and get after the next one. The good thing about this season is you got a game basically every day. We got a long stretch of 9 games in 8 days, weather permitting, and the Kettleers need to just flip the page and keep it going. They got off to a hot start. We're in a little bit of a lull here, and the bats got to warm up a little bit.
It's a new day tomorrow, and we will talk to you at Doran Park live at 5:50 p.m. Cotuit falls to Wareham 6-0, and we'll be back tomorrow in Bourne. For Aram Layton and our entire Cotuit media crew, I'm Sam Niederman. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night.